All right, thanks a lot, Melissa. She can be comfortable down there on the field today because it's really not bad considering it's mid-December in the Northeast, 49 degrees. It's windy on the field a little bit, but the breeze is not affecting goalposts. If you look at the flags there, is J.J. Watt having another brilliant year, and the Texans are ready to try and right a little wrong, they feel. Started off 0-3, won 9 straight games, but had to stumble last week against the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I'm talking to those guys last night. You know, that game, you never want to lose a game, but it's kind of a wake-up call. It refocused this team, and the Texans say, yeah, we got to get back on track and get that winning streak going again. Starts tonight.
Yeah, that wake-up call will humble you quickly. As soon as everybody thought that this was the hottest team in America, here comes a loss, and they have to sit back, look in the mirror, and realize that they're not as good as they thought they were. But tonight, this is the team that they're supposed to beat, but there's a lot of fight in those Jets. I'm excited to see what happens.
And the Jets will get the ball first. Andre Roberts, one of the best return men in the league, will take a knee, and so the Jets will begin at the 25-yard line. Their first-round pick, Sam Darnold, coming off one of his best games of the year. Missed 3 straight with that foot injury, but came back last week and led them to a comeback win with a fourth quarter victory at Buffalo.
What a terrific win that was, a come from behind her, first one of his career. And you know, he said he learned something from watching from the sidelines for 3 weeks. Took a deep breath, and hopefully things are slowing down a little bit for the rookie.
So they'll start at the 25. The pitch to Eli McGuire. And McGuire struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. He's in the starting lineup because of their injuries at running back. Isaiah Crowell out for the year with a toe injury he suffered last week.
And Eli McGuire, he's a good player now. What a great guy to have. They've had 2 other injuries with Powell and Crowell, and now Eli's there. Scored a touchdown. He missed the first 8 games. He was on IR. Good to have him healthy.
Officially a loss of a yard. Darnold hands it off. McGuire wrapped up right away. Jadeveon Clowney gone to back-to-back Pro Bowls and having another Pro Bowl campaign.
Yeah, and this is what they like to do, is they want to move him around. Jadeveon Clowney, he stands up. He's a defensive outside linebacker, a defensive lineman, and they move him around, and boy, is he active, usually opposite J.J. Watt.
And when you saw him right there, he was moving around pre-snap. You got to identify where he is because he's an absolute beast on the field.
Certainly not the way the Jets want to start off. 1-yard losses on each of the first 2 runs, so 3rd and long. Darnold under pressure, brought down, sacked. There's that other guy, J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt, 12.5 sacks coming into this game. That would be number 13.5. He's second only to Aaron Donald and Von Miller. But look at him on the outside. He's got the speed rush. Wow.
And just check him out. I mean, he used a little bit of that strength, but he goes around you. And that's what it is. At that size, at that weight, you don't expect him to be that fast. But J.J. Watt, when we were talking to him yesterday, he said, I'm surprised that defense coordinators are singling me up. You give him a single, you're going to end up with a result like that. Sack on the quarterback.
Another 3 and out now for the Jets opening drive. You know, they haven't scored a touchdown all year on their opening drive. In fact, 6 points total. That's the lowest in the National Football League.
Here's DeAndre Carter. Hit, brought down. Nice open field tackle by Trenton Cannon.
Going to need a lot of that. Special teams play for the Jets, especially if that offense can't get going like we saw on that first drive.
And Trenton Cannon is the backup running back today, too.
We'll have our first look at Deshaun Watson, and you heard Melissa Stark talk about the campaign that he has had. 22 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he really has gotten it going during this streak. Got off to a slow start, trying to bounce back from that ACL tear last year. Took him a while to find his groove. Said it was about week 5 before he did, but since then, he's been a top 5 quarterback. Starting at the 41. Dancing around, Lamar Miller picks up 5 yards.
And this is how this team is built now. They want to run the football first. You got a couple of running backs alternating in with Alfred Blue and Lamar Miller. And, of course, the quarterback is good with his legs as well.
Yeah, they want to run the ball, but don't fall for it, though. That's just to keep your eyes in the backfield. As soon as you do, they'll hit you over the top with a big pass to DeAndre Hopkins.
He's down at the bottom of your screen, number 10. Watson on the keeper. First down and more.
Here he goes.
And Watson all the way down to the Jets' 30-yard line. And this is where he is dangerous, getting a big block from Demaryius Thomas and a gain of 24.
Yeah, here's the read option now. He's going to pull it in there, and Leonard Williams comes down, takes the back, and away we go. And we've got a tight end blocking, or Demaryius Thomas blocking for the quarterback. This is where this guy separates himself from most quarterbacks.
It's all about the subtleties. Bill O'Brien said he's a magician when it comes to those fakes. Guys are keeping their eyes in the backfield, watching his hands.
Keeps it this time, looking to throw. Does, incomplete. DeAndre Carter, the nearest receiver there.
This is one area now that the Texans have to get better, protecting their quarterback. He's been sacked 46 times. That's second most in the league, and Deshaun hasn't been great. With pressure in his face, they've got to find a way to protect him or get him out of the pocket where he's also dangerous.
They did a couple plays ago. That was a design run for 24 yards. Empty backfield. This time steps into the throw and makes it. DeAndre Hopkins from Deshaun Watkins.
I want you guys to pay attention to DeAndre Hopkins right here. Tremaine Johnson on the inside slide. He's going to run a quick fade. Here's a back shoulder fade on the seam ball, and that's a beautiful ball thrown. When it comes to that 50-50 ball, for most receivers, it's an 80-20 with a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. Those big old mitts will grab it every time.
Gain of 18. Handoff. Taken by Miller. Falls forward to the 10-yard line.
And with DeAndre Hopkins, you always want to see how they're trying to defend this guy because, Nate, he's been traveled with or shadowed more than anybody in the National Football League. 9 different teams have done that. I don't see it yet today. I think they're playing right and left corners.
Now, Coach, to that point, this whole drive, I'm seeing a lot of single coverage on DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, here we are again. Check out the safety in the middle of the field. I'll be surprised if they don't go to him more often.
Got Tremaine Johnson over there one-on-one.
Instead, they hand it off to Lamar Miller. Miller, not much running room. Neville Hewitt, the first Jet in there for the stop.
Now, I understand.
Miller a little slow to get up.
I understand that they want to run the ball to open up the pass, but if I'm the Houston Texans and you have DeAndre Hopkins, you got one-on-one coverage, you got to go and you got to throw it up.
Yeah, and I see Lamar Miller now limping. He's down. He's got an injury.
Yeah, we said it was slow to get up. He can't even make it off the field. Took a few steps, decided to sit down and let the training staff come and check him out. See if we can't see what happened.
And you'll check it out right here. It looks like he gets rolled up on here in the middle of the pile. He's going to fall short, and it's unfortunate because we talked to him yesterday. He said, I haven't been getting hit as much as I used to, and my body has felt good. So up until this point, he's remained relatively healthy. Yeah. So we'll see if he bounces back and comes back in the game.
And Alfred Blue now, he's a good football player too. Lamar Miller is the deep threat. He can go 91 yards for a touchdown, and he's short of 1,000 yards on the season. But Alfred Blue is their banger. This guy, 230-pound back, and he'll slam it in there.
You want to watch DeAndre Hopkins right there in the slot. Anytime you have a wide receiver of that caliber lined up against your nickelback, keep your eyes on him.
3rd and 7. They can pick up the first at the 3-yard line. Watson runs out of time, escapes. Whistles blow, they call it in the grass. Credit Henry Anderson with a sack.
Wow.
I got to take another look at this.
All right, you had Buster Screen on the slot in coverage, but you had Darryl Roberts waiting for him to come across on the shallow cross.
They passed it along, Coach, you're right.
So you're talking about right here, and you got right here. Here he comes. So essentially he's being doubled, and Deshaun sees that. Boy, in the grasp.
So what happens here is they're blowing the whistle right as he's retreating. With a guy like that who's so athletic, you might want to let that play go a little bit.
Jamie Fairburn on for the 41-yard attempt, and it is good. And so early whistle and all, Texans take their first drive, put up points. It's 3-0.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by KFC's $20 fill-up. It's finger-licking good. And by Verizon. Get the gift you want on the network you deserve. All
right, 3.5 minutes on that drive. Fairburn with it field goal, and the Houston Texans just like that on top after one possession each. Jets getting ready to take it over for the second time. Sam Darnold looking for a little bit more positive start than he had on the opening drive.
Well, you take a good look at your first 15,
Right.
and you try to decide, if you haven't had any success with opening drives, very important. You get this quarterback started, get him a completion, something easy, a screen.
But, Coach, if you get stuffed after a couple of runs and then your quarterback goes down with a big sack by J.J. Watt, you might want to abort those first 15 and figure out something else.
Well, remember the season opener, he started with a pick 6 on his opening drive.
That's right.
And then rolled and had his best game through for
Really did play
334
well.
yards, put up 41 points. We'll see if he can kind of follow that formula as he takes the field at the 25-yard line.
I want to see what they do with J.J. Watt, because he was singled up every time in that first series. On pass plays, you'd probably be better off doubling that guy.
And, Coach, when we were talking to him, there was slight disrespect that he felt. He said, I can't believe these defensive coordinators are only giving me one guy to beat.
Jets come out with 2 tight ends. From the shotgun. Darnold under pressure again. He throws that one into the ground near McGuire, and there's a flag down in the backfield.
Well, his pressure came from Dunn, not J.J. Watt. J.J. was
Personal
double
foul.
tight end and
Roughing the
tackle.
passer, number 90. Defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Jadeveon Clowney called for roughing the passer after he got rid of the football.
Yeah, and what you'll see right here, as Darnold's going down, Jadeveon Clowney hitting him in the back. You see his helmet right in the back of his jersey on the 14. And they're going to call that every time,
Yeah,
Coach.
that's a good
If you got a little bit of your helmet in your shoulder, they're going to look at that as roughing the passer.
Yeah, DJ Reader was fine. It was Clowney's hit that was late.
Jets use it to pick up 15 yards. From the 40, McGuire. Couple nice cuts. Gets it out across the 45-yard line, a gain of 6.
And that's what you got to have. You got to have positive yardage on a first down and second down to create those third and manageable situations for these young quarterbacks.
That's right.
And I think both coaches are very conscientious of that.
You hear the chess match going on. Here's Darnold running. He's mobile, and he picks up the first down. More fleet of foot than you think, and that's a nice run by the rookie.
Yeah, that's one of the things coming out of college. He could scoot now, and he's a very good thrower from the run, but he's an athlete. He can make plays with his legs. Smart slide, first down Jets.
Yeah, we were talking to Bill O'Brien, the head coach for the Texans, and he said, we got to keep the young kid in the pocket because he's very comfortable on the run, as we just saw right there.
Ball in Texans territory for the first time for New York. McGuire up the middle. Met by J.J. Watt. We talked about just how mobile this kid is. Last week, he did something that we have not seen done in this league
A long
maybe
time.
in forever, but certainly in
All right,
quite a while.
There's front door escape. He's looking. Oh, let's go back the other way. Reminds you of Fran Tarkington. I just aged myself, didn't I? Look at this. He ran 46 yards to get that touchdown, Kurt.
That's the longest in the next-gen stats generation.
Does Sam know Fran Tarkington is coach?
No, but I do. I heard him. Good play.
Don't age yourself too much.
play.
Played not far from here for the Giants for a little bit, even though he made his name with Minnesota. Darnold has time, going deep. Looking for Robbie Anderson in the end zone. No flags. Double coverage there by the Texans. Tyrann Mathieu and Sharice Wright had him bracketed.
Yeah, and you'll see Robbie Anderson inside split trying to make a play on that ball. And here he is. This is the end of the play. I would love for Robbie Anderson to just stop and go up, because once you're falling forward, you're not going to make a play because you're going to lose that ball every time. I was always taught by Randy Moss, if the ball's close to you in traffic, you plant your feet, coach, and you go up, because one thing that might happen, you'll come down with it, but two, you might get a PI because those guys are going to
You might draw passing interference. You bet.
All right, so a third down for the Jets. Looking for the 38. Darnold, quick zip out to the right. Right in front of the marker, and the pass is caught Rashard Matthews with the catch. We'll see exactly where they spotted him, see if he got enough for the first down.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like he did. We have an out route, and you see him catch it with his hands and trap that ball. He slides right on that first down mark, and they move the sticks. We were watching practice, guys. He was moving around quite a bit, knowing the opportunity that's in front of him. He's going to have a big chance to come up with some big plays, and there he is right there.
Number 70 is an eligible receiver. Number 70 is eligible.
Clean catch.
A clean catch. You got the inside breaking route, outside breaking route. You give the young quarterback that easy high-low read. He makes the right read.
Here's Dakota Dozier in the backfield.
The big offensive lineman, number 70. McGuire smartly follows him. Wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing how much they use him. You know, half the teams in this league don't have a fullback on their roster. So you see a lot of tight ends in the game at fullback positions. Right here, the Jets use Dakota Dozier, and they use him quite a bit in I formation. They'll even use him in split backs sometimes for pass protection.
And what I'm starting to realize, Coach, with all these big men making plays in the league, is a lot of these guys played running back and even tight end when they were younger. So they got the quick feet.
And they're athletic.
That's right.
Yep. Ready. Reset.
The pitch to McGuire. Hit in the backfield. DJ Reader was the first guy, and Whitney Merciless and Bernardrick McKinnick wrapped him up.
Whitney Merciless is a dog. He's going to come downhill and read this run. You know, I was talking to Eli before the game. He said, I'm ready. But guess what, Eli? So is that defense. I mean, they're getting after that run. Remember, we were talking to Jeremy Bates. He said, we can't keep up throw for throw with this defense. So we're going to have to run in order to open up the pass. I would love these guys to take a few more shots. Don't be afraid to test that umbrella of that Houston Texans defense.
They need to get some yards here. 3rd and 8. Maybe a time to test it. J.J. Watt took off. He was pointing and saying an offensive lineman moved, but no flag came out.
It's a pointing game right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who moved?
It's not my fault. It's your fault.
Well, Watt's saying that there should have been a false start. The Jets are saying they were drawn on it.
I don't see anything, J.J.
Defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And the Jets win that argument.
Now, listen, J.J.'s the man. He's been in the league for quite some time. You'll check him out right here. And I'm not sure what he saw, but he goes off sides. And, of course, offensive line, they point at him. You'll see a little bit of tweak.
Watch the center.
You'll
Move
see
his head a little bit.
Yeah, Coach, but I always tell my son, don't worry about the refs. Don't worry about the call.
Yeah.
Worry about the play at hand. And J.J.'s worrying about them making that call. You can't do that.
And that's a big one. Turns a 3rd and 8 into a 3rd and 3. Much more manageable. Here's Darnold. Quick pass. Caught. 1st down. Robbie Anderson with the reception.
Well, giving him a little cushion, and I would too, because Robbie Anderson's the guy that you want to take a shot with.
Yeah, he has that speed, Coach, and you'll see it right here. You got off coverage. Joseph is off about 6-7 yards. You just run a hitch route. You get enough for the 1st down. That actually could be called a sticks route, or sticks route. It's 3rd and 3. Say, hey, Robbie, I need you to get 4 or 5 yards. Get this 1st down, and let's move these sticks.
They pick up 7. From the 24-yard line. Dozier lined up in the backfield, this time to the left. And McGuire again goes that way, but it's stretched out. Flags on the play as well as he gets chased out of bounds.
It looks like from here a holding call on the big guy. Dakota Dozier was playing fullback again, and on the Jadeveon Clowney.
Holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
You are a coach. You can spot those penalties from here.
Take a look at this right here. He's blocking the edge, and there's Clowney. Says he's not getting off on this. But, yeah, he's got him around.
Yeah, Coach, you got to keep those hands inside. Listen, there's no way that you're going to be able to keep Clowney in front of you. He's just too athletic. I say get a hit on him first, and then you lock up. You have a better chance of keeping Jadeveon Clowney out of the backfield.
Well, one thing the Jets are doing here is keeping the ball out of the Texans' offense's hand.
That's a great point.
This is the 10th play of this drive.
That's the way you beat a team that's explosive on offense.
Darnold under pressure from Watt, completes it. Robbie Anderson all the way down to the 16-yard line. Give him 18.
One-on-one on Kareem Jackson. What a nice route. And then J.J. Watt was on the other side. You'll see him right here.
And here it
Beach
is.
blocks and nice route.
Check that out, Coach. That's that old school post corner. And what I mean by that, you run 6 yards up, you break to the inside, and then you break right back out. He tried to get that first down. He's close enough for them to have a manageable second down.
Robbie Anderson hasn't had the kind of season he wanted to, but wants to emphasize that these last 3 games. Here's Darnold. Flushed out. With time. Towards the end zone, flags, and the secondary ball falls incomplete, intended for Anderson.
Well, that's kind of an ill-advised throw by Sam Darnold. He threw that across the grain like he did that first pass of the season.
Yeah.
But we'll see what the penalties.
Defense, number 25.
All right.
5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
First down, another set of downs for the Jets.
Yeah, and as we were saying, it was an ill-advised throw. You'll see this ill-advised penalty right here. Robbie Anderson knowing exactly where his QB is, and once you're holding on that jersey, those refs are going to throw that 10 times out of 10. It's a bold throw. It's a bold scramble, though. J.J. Watt breathing down your neck. But we know that Sam Darnold, once he gets outside that pocket, just like a lot of these young quarterbacks in the league, they can make a big play.
Kareem Jackson, the victim that time. Here's McGuire again. And we've seen 2 key defensive penalties by this Texans defense deep in their own territory.
Yeah, they're helping muddle it. What a great drive, though, by the Jets. They made some nice, timely first downs. This is going to be important. Not to settle for the field goal. Let's go get the touchdown right here. They can still make a first down inside the 1.
And how about that, Coach? After their first drive, 3 and out, your quarterback gets smacked for the sack by J.J. Watt. And now you have this long drive milking the clock and have a chance to really take the lead up against a Houston team that everybody said was going to come in and blow the doors off of.
Darnold steps up underneath, throws it incomplete.
Boy, I thought he had Elijah McGuire for the touchdown.
He did, Coach,
And
on a
he
little angle
didn't
route.
throw it.
He did throw it back. You live to play another down, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Jeremy Bates said. He's learning situational football, knowing when to throw the ball away. And here he is right now. And Jeremy Bates, offense coordinator, of course. You look at this down right here. This is as big as it gets at this point in the game. 3rd and goal. What are you going to do here? Looks like they're going empty backfield, giving the young quarterback a chance to make a play with his arm.
And they actually can pick up a first down at the 1.
Appreciate the correction, Kurt.
Nobody knew that, Gus. Here's Darnold. Underneath, going for the first down. They won't get it. Jermaine Kearse, the intended receiver. But Tyrann Mathieu there to knock it down, and so the Jets will have to settle for the field goal attempt.
Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu playing inside leverage on that, knowing where you're supposed to be. You don't give up that inside breaking route. All over Kearse, trying to make a play right on the goal line.
You look at the defense. It was just a 2-man rush. They dropped everybody in coverage. Wanted the youngsters to throw into some tight windows. Forced this field goal.
Jason Myers, who's had a brilliant first year with the Jets. This one from 26 yards out. And we're tied. Well, the field goal kickers have put up all the points. Sam Darnold and company feeling a lot better. J.J. Watt, the clear leader, not only of this Texas defense, but this team, and trying to get his troops fired up after a couple of penalties extended that last Jets drive.
Yeah, Kurt, and I know exactly what he's saying right there. He's saying we can't have that. These guys went all the way down the field. They milked the clock. Okay, they came away with a field goal, but when you go down and you go up against a defense like that, Coach, and you milk the clock, that's like a blow to the stomach. So he's saying, guys, we cannot have that. We need to get our offense back on the field so we can get some points on the board.
Yeah, I like the way the Jets responded after going 3 and out in the first drive.
Right.
Young quarterback says, hey, all right, let's go down and put this thing in the end zone. He fell short, kicked the field goal, but boy, they had a lot of clock time right there. Nice drive by the Jets.
Yeah, how about those Jets?
And the Jets kick it off. DeAndre Carter from the goal line. Across the 20. As long as you get across that 25, the coach doesn't mind that decision.
It's a win. It's a win for the return team.
Back in 30 seconds after this quick message from Bose. All right, so Deshaun Watson and the Texans ready to take it over for the second time today. Kurt Menefee, Steve Mariucci, Nate Burleson, and Melissa Stark. With you from MetLife is Watson underneath. completes that one out to his rookie tight end, Jordan Thomas. Let's get it down to Melissa.
Yeah, Kurt, we saw Texans running back Lamar Miller come out on their first drive with an ankle injury, and he really just tested it out, never sat down the entire time the Jets offense had the ball, kind of making sure it didn't tighten up, stayed away from the trainers, gave me a thumbs up. You see he's back in there, obviously good to go.
And the Jets called a timeout, so they're not good to go, weren't quite ready yet. With 1:25 seconds left to go here in this first quarter. And so since the Jets decided to take a timeout, we will too.
All right.
Back in New Jersey, the Houston Texans, leaders of the AFC South, currently the number 3 seed in the AFC playoff picture. Same record, though, as second seeded New England, who, of course, takes on Pittsburgh tomorrow. And so this is an important game for the Texans as far as the division hopes go, and a potential first-round bye, as they are tied at 3 with the Jets right now. Final minute and a half for the first quarter. Plenty of time for Deshaun Watson, wide open. DeAndre Hopkins into Jets territory. How easy was that?
Yeah, that was easy, and we don't see anybody traveling with him. They're either man-free or cover-3 zone, and that was just a zone, Nate.
Yeah, and check him out right here. He has an inside split, and he's running that crosser route we like to call a willie, which is basically I need you to get to the other side of the field around 25 yards to the other sideline. Initially, it looked like man-to-man, but then they went zone. Deshaun Watson reading the zone, hitting the open man on the other side of the field.
27-yard pickup to the Jets 45. The play fake. Watson open again. This time on the left side is Hopkins. Another easy catch and throw, and that'll be number 500 for the great young career of DeAndre Hopkins.
Second youngest ever to get to 500. Larry Fitzgerald did that.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I'm Bill O'Brien, I'm saying, hey, let's keep throwing it down. We're going to take a shot to this guy because they're giving him single coverage, Nate.
Coach, how about that? Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins now, and of course, Randy Moss, my former teammate. But you're right, single coverage, zone coverage, cover 3, throw it to DeAndre Hopkins.
Watson flushed out, directing traffic, and chased out of bounds. Brandon Copeland with a little shove at the end and a flag. Right in the middle of the field. I think he's retrieving that ball for Hopkins.
Holding. Defense, number 54. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Now, I completely understand that the anchor of this offense is running to open up the pass. But when you're playing man-to-man, you're going to put defenses in position where they have to grab, where they have to pull, where they have to hold, Coach.
Nate, especially when you have a scrambling quarterback, because right, you cover a guy for a while, and all of a sudden there goes the quarterback, and now you got to hang on and redirect, and sometimes they tug and pull on those jerseys.
Yeah, and for those at home, I need you to understand the average play in the NFL lasts 6 seconds. So if you have a quarterback that can negotiate the pocket with his feet, extend that play another 5 seconds. If I'm a wide receiver, I get to run the route that you called and then the scramble route afterwards. So that's why you see some of these big plays when these mobile quarterbacks get outside the pocket. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, these guys are the best in the business at extending plays.
And it's an unscripted play. The scramble drill for these quarterbacks is the most frequent play you're going to have in the game.
Yeah.
Deshaun has 6 touchdown passes from the scramble, over 100 passer rating. He's dangerous, not only with his arms out there, but with his legs.
Expect Demaryius Thomas to get involved sometime soon. Big target getting close to the end zone. This is where he shows up big.
Most likely the final play of the first quarter. All kinds of time for Watson. Gets it out to Andre Carter, and that will be the final play of the first quarter. Watson and the Texans trying to get back on the board. It's all tied at 3 here in this NFL Network special. We're only 1 quarter through what should be at least 8 quarters of holiday football as Baker Mayfield takes on Von Miller. It's the Browns and the Broncos. Game 2 of our doubleheader coming your way when we are done here from New Jersey.
I'm rushing home to see that one. That young Baker Mayfield has been balling his butt out, Kurt.
Since the change in coaches, they're playing as well offensively as anybody. Deshaun Watson zips that one over the middle, intended for the former Bronco. Demaryius Thomas.
And what a great get Demaryius Thomas was when Will Fuller got hurt. Demaryius Thomas, Nate, he's played 130 consecutive games. Talk about Mr. Reliable.
That's right.
He's going to be more and more productive.
Mr. Durable. They tried to find him right there. Just a skinny inside breaking route. But what happens is Deshaun Watson felt that pressure. He's throwing off his back leg, and the ball sails on him just a little bit.
Sooner or later, got to take a shot at DeAndre Hopkins.
Third down coming up. Watson goes that way. Hopkins, and that's enough to move the chains.
And Tremaine Johnson's playing him soft.
Yeah.
We're not seeing much bump and run. They honor his speed and his ability to make a 50-50 catch, Nate.
That's right.
So they're just going to run the outs and comebacks and be patient with it.
So just take exactly what they give you. And what makes that so difficult to stop is you have an inside split.
That's not good for the Texans as Lamar Miller appears to be headed for the locker room. They do get the first down from the 17. Miller's replacement, Alfred Blue, going nowhere. And does that change anything if Miller can't come back and play by playing Blue?
You know, when we talked to Lamar last night, they share the load. That's why they're both feeling fresh. They share the load in practice and in games. But Blue is more of a powerful guy. He's not the guy that's going to hit the home run for 90 yards like Lamar has already this year.
Yeah, they're very aware of each other's skill sets. Lamar saying that Blue is the banger of the two.
Texans with 6 offensive linemen, and they throw it. That's caught by Blue out across the 15-yard line.
We're seeing the Jets drop off in coverage with a lot of guys and say, hey, let this rookie. Same with the other team. Both of these defenses are saying, let's play coverage and see if they throw it to us.
And listen, if you're KC Rogers, the defensive coordinator for the Jets, this is why it's so difficult when you're trying to come up with the perfect play, right? Because you know that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a factor. You have Demaryius Thomas, who's a big-time target, but also Deshaun Watson can tuck that ball and take off at any moment.
They've got to cover that guy right there because they've got to be thinking, we need a touchdown here. We got a safety over the top right now.
Stepping out, Watson. Still looking towards the end zone. Throws it short of the end zone and incomplete. Hopkins was his intended receiver, but Morris Claiborne was having none of that.
Yeah, he sure wasn't. This is a great play by Morris Claiborne. Check it out right here. Deshaun Watson's going to feel a little bit of pressure inside rush. He's going to break outside. DeAndre Hopkins, he comes back down to the sideline. That ball slightly too far inside gives Claiborne a chance to break that down. But if you have your receiver coming back downhill on a secondary route, throw it to the sideline. Allow DeAndre Hopkins to give a little toe drag swag.
Well, it took it to the second quarter to get that in.
You've been waiting.
I'm going to save it for an actual toe drag swag.
It was Fairbairn. He got one right through, and so too. Tammy Fairbairn field goals, and it's a 6-3 contest. Oh, the Texans up by 3 in what's an important game as far as the playoff standings go in the AFC. Right now, they're holding on to that 3rd seed with a chance, outside chance, but not that remote, of getting a first-round bye. But so far, it has been a struggle against this Jets defense for them.
Yeah, they got to find a way to finish these drives in the end zone rather than settling for field goals. And this kickoff return is important too, because you don't want to kick to this guy, Andre Roberts. He's dynamite now. He's got 8 returns this year, over 40 yards. I mean, he can go the distance.
More than anybody else in the NFL, 5 on kickoffs, another 3 on punts. He is a danger, standing back in his end zone. Brings it out. Tries to scoop through a hole, tripped up, falls forward at the 25-yard line. So Sam Darnold will get his 3rd opportunity of the day from there.
And they have to feel good about their last drive. Jeremy Bates says, all right, guys, we got 3 against a good defense. Let's go down and do it again. Be methodical. Be good on first downs.
Yeah, and it also helped that they milked the clock, Coach. You go down there, take your time, don't panic. A couple of penalties extended the drive, but Sam doing a good job right now of managing the game thus far.
Jets with 3 tight ends. All lined up and bunched up to the left. Empty backfield now. Darnold Pump fake gets it out to Trenton Cannon. And the rookie running back going to pick up 8 yards on that run.
Virginia State rookie. He'll play some special teams. He's going to back up Eli, give him a little rest. Good athlete.
I love that play, though. You have 3 tight ends to the left side. That's going to attract a lot of attention. Motion to the right, a quick screen to the right side of the field, pick up some easy yards, get the drive started with an 8-yard gain.
The handoff to Cannon, stutter steps, pushes the pile, going to be right near that first down marker. Cannon getting his opportunity as he pissed the first down, because as we mentioned the injuries they've had at running back this year.
Push right here. Nardrick McKinney, their middle linebackers. Yep. We're going to get a push. That's going to be close. First down.
Some hard-nosed football by the Jets. I got to respect it. You know, going through this game, I think people are saying on paper the Texans are going to run away with this game. But the Jets saying, you know what, we're at home. We got a lot to play for ourselves. We're going to bring it tonight, too.
There's that 3 tight end formation again to the left. Darnold stepping up, throws right. Cannon can't get away from Joseph. But another good reception by the rookie, 6 yards this time out of the backfield.
The Jets use 3 tight ends, guys, more than anybody in the National Football League. 13% of their snaps, they'll have 3 tight ends on the field at the same time with Robbie Anderson and a running back. They've got a nice package with this personnel group.
Struggling to keep guys healthy. Quincy Enunwa was supposed to be a big part of this season. Him being banged up, it hurts their roster and their depth.
Depth and roster have been a concern for New York all season long. Here's Darnold. Zips that one, no flags. Jets wanted one. Jermaine Kearse, the intended receiver. Jonathan Joseph, a little push in the back.
Yeah, and you're going to see Jadeveon Clowney coming in with the pressure.
It might have been a tad bit early, but I'm not going to throw a flag on that one, Coach. You know, I would love Sam Darnold on that play. If you know you got an inside receiver that's going to break out, get that ball out of your hands a little bit early.
With a quick snap.
Here's Darnold, gets it out early. Cannon out of the backfield. First down, Jets.
And the Texans weren't really lined up properly right there, trying to play a little bit of man-to-man on 3rd and short. They got fooled, and that was a good snap by Sam Darnold.
Well, use every advantage that you have, Coach. You got to tell you guys, get to the line of scrimmage. Let's try to get this up-tempo going. You know, back when I played with Matt Stafford, who was a gunslinger in itself, he was more comfortable when we were up-tempo. It didn't need to be 2 minutes, but I remember Coach telling him, you don't need to panic. You don't need to hurry up. Just know we're up-tempo right now.
You got the big guy in there, Dozier's at fullback.
Eli McGuire's behind him. They hand it to McGuire. Gets away from J.J. Watt. Nice little 4-yard run. Flag down late.
Coach, what you giggling about?
I'm giggling because you got a little bit of F counter over there. You got the fullback coming all the way around on the other side.
Listen, let's not confuse the people too much. I don't even know what F counter is.
Look at,
what do we got here?
I'll show you. They're going to pull the backs. Here's the flag. Let's hear what they got to say about this.
Illegal block in the back. Number 11, offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
All right, watch this guy right here. He's going to pull right here. And then we're going to come around here, and he's going to go up through there. That's F counter. Look at that. That's a good football play right there.
But it doesn't count.
Yeah, I know it, but it's on tape.
All right, here's the penalty right here. Robbie, it's no point, man. Just get up there and screen them if you have to, but you don't need to place your hands on anybody's back. They're going to throw that every time.
Makes it a 1st and 17. Off the play fake, Darnold. To one of those big tight ends, Tomlinson. Oh, look at him rumble.
And laundry on
the flag.
That was a good play, too. Let's just hope it's not on the Jets. It looks like it is.
You know, on 1st and real long.
Illegal block in the back. Number 89, offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's on one of the tight ends, Herndon, right there.
You know, here it is. You'll see it right here. Herndon, hands in the back. Here's the thing. A coach used to tell me, you're in a position where you feel like you got to push somebody in the back or clip them in the back. just allow the football runner to make a play. Like, trust the guy with the ball in his hand.
Well, he's heard that before, too. It just happens instinctively. You try to help your buddy out.
Yeah, coach, with back-to-back plays, and then the Jets wonder why they struggle in certain games, because they make bonehead plays like this that back up their drive.
Yep. Negating 2 good games. The draw play. McGuire fumbled the football, and it looks like Houston recovers. They did.
And J.J. Watt off the edge.
Watt was the guy who punched it out from McGuire.
And Romeo Crennel is using.
And here it is.
That's
You'll
Zach
see
Cunningham.
J.J. Watt right there, almost on impact. The ball comes out.
Wow.
J.J. doing what J.J. does.
It's a sack and a forced fumble, and we're only midway through the second quarter.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by the Lexus December to Remember sales event, now through January 2nd.
No real surprise, first turnover of the game caused by Watt.
Right here, J.J. Watt
And
coming
watch
off the
this.
edge.
He's going right outside. And check out the swim move. Pay attention to his arms. He hits the left shoulder and swims right over the top and get right to the runner, coach.
He's got a sack already and forced fumble in this game.
And sets up great field position for his offense.
Guys, here's a nugget right here. J.J. Watt has been singled 17 times. He's only been doubled 6 times, and you wonder why he's always in the backfield.
He has been today. Alfred Blue turns sideways, picks up a yard. Nice job by Morris Claiborne getting in there.
It's not often you see cornerbacks willing to come up and enforce on the run. Claiborne doing a good job right there, showing that he's not just a cover corner, he can make a hit as well.
This is an interesting offensive possession for the Texans, a team that kind of stumbled a little bit last week against Indianapolis and has had trouble scoring so far here today. A great field position to start this one. Watson has the time, deep over the middle of the field. Hopkins in the end zone. Touchdown, Texans.
What a play. I'm getting goosebumps right now. It was amazing. It's hard not to be a fan when you see amazing plays like that.
Sooner or later, he's going to shoot one up. Let that guy make a play.
And here he is right here. DeAndre Hopkins, he's just splitting right down the middle, going right over the top of the safety, plays a little hand fighting. But check out how he tracks the ball. One of the best in the business at that. Kind of reminds me of Randy Moss. That ball goes in there, his eyes, his hands. He finds exactly where it's going to come down at. And check out how chill he is. This is just business as usual for one of the best receivers in the game.
He's gone 4 straight games without 100 yards receiving. He's at 108, and we're not to halftime. Fairburn adds the extra point. Texans settle for field goals twice today, but when you got a guy like Hopkins, it won't be like that all day. Two plays after the turnover, Deshaun Watson to DeAndre Hopkins' 45-yard touchdown reception, and Watson continues with his career mark. 19th straight game he's had a touchdown pass. He's had a touchdown either rushing or throwing in every single game he started.
When it's crunch time now, when you got to win a game, you expect your great players to make plays, right, Nate? So J.J. Watt causes the fumble. Deshaun Watson throws the bomb to your guy, DeAndre Hopkins, and the 3 of them delivered on that series.
Watson so far 8 of 11, 118 yards. 108 of them are to DeAndre Hopkins. You think he likes him?
Yeah.
Andre Roberts is taking a knee on that one. Keep in mind that tomorrow at 9, J.J. Smith-Schuster talks about the Steelers' big showdown with the New England Patriots. And the guys on the pregame show will get you ready for all of Sunday's contests. NFL Game Day morning, tomorrow morning at 9 Eastern, live on NFL Network. Where will you be?
How am I going to get back to that thing tomorrow morning, Kurt?
Modern transportation will get you there, trust me.
Oh, it's modern? Okay.
You got to be there, too. Everybody's got someplace to go tomorrow morning.
Exactly.
I heard y'all traveling like Jay-Z and Beyonce.
I'm claiming Jay-Z there, okay? After the touchback from the 25. See if Sam Darnold and the Jets can answer. Nick Cannon Not much of a pickup. DJ Reader there to stop him. Maybe a yard on the play.
Now let me tell you how this goes. The Jets had control of this game right before that fumble. And then all of a sudden they start to feel a slip away, Coach. And let me ask you, do you change the way you call the game after losing the ball and then getting hit right away with a big touchdown?
Well, you got to call what you've practiced, what your guys know, right? In a short week like this, and you got to find a way to make a first down. That's all they're thinking about right now. Move the sticks.
Well, they picked up yardage in chunks when they didn't have penalties on that last drive. We'll see if they can again this time. That would help. Jermaine Kearse out across the 30-yard line.
You know, there's always a silver lining. And, you know, if you're the Jets, and I've been in this situation before, you're facing a team that some say you're inferior to. They have control of the game. You're down early before halftime. Something isn't going your way. You lose the ball, get scored on. But you got to calm down. You got to just tell everybody in that huddle, listen, we got a chance to go out and score, make this a game. Before halftime, you just need points.
And there's still more than 7 minutes before halftime, so lots of time in this game. Here comes the pressure. Darnold gets it off. Throws too high. Just couldn't connect with Roberts. Had him. And Roberts had a step on his man, McKinney, and just couldn't make the connection work.
That's what you have when you got young quarterbacks, and it's just a little off here and there. Just got to find a way to make that connection. Andre Roberts is a heck of a player. He's probably a little bit more experience as a kickoff returner.
Yeah, but that was a missed opportunity for the Jets.
Yeah.
Right after watching Houston score, you go 3 and out and give them the ball back. Lachlan Edwards to punt. DeAndre Carter. Out across the 31-yard line on that one, and we will be back in 30 seconds after this message from USAA. Last time Deshaun Watson touched the ball, he threw it 45 yards to DeAndre Hopkins for a touchdown, this time starting at his own 31. Under center. Play action. Wide open, Demaryius Thomas skips a tackle and gets into Jets territory before finally being brought down by Darryl Roberts. 28 more yards.
Now check this out right here. You'll see Demaryius Thomas, he's going to explode upfield. At this point, Jermaine Johnson doesn't know if he's going to run a go route, stops his feet right around 15 yards. And once you know, you realize once you catch that ball, the DB is going to be on your outside because he wants you to go back in, which allows you to get a few more yards after catch.
Another big chunk play for this Texans offense now. They're starting to pile them up. Look at that reverse, handed off to Andre Carter. Jets played it fairly well, still gained 7 yards.
Well, the run game for the Texans is fairly simple. You know, you're going to outside zone, inside zone, little zone read. Here's faking the zone read, and all of a sudden we run a little reverse with it.
Yeah, Coach, you remember what Bill O'Brien said, Deshaun Watson is a magician with the ball in his hands.
Great ball handler. Great
ball handling. You got to do a little bit of play faking in order to fool that defense. It always keeps their eyes on the quarterback.
You're going to hear the Jets screaming to call a timeout. Obviously, they were not lined up the way they wanted to be because everybody was screaming, call timeout.
That's right. And you know what I love about that motion? I know they ran that reverse on the previous play, but they've been priming that play because they've been running the motion all game. But what it does, though, it freezes the defense. Even though the big touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins, they ran a motion. Even though the Jets blitz, they had to blitz wider, Coach, because the motion was outside the contain. And it gives Deshaun Watson, just a little bit more time inside that pocket, allows him to throw the ball right over the top of the safety for a touchdown.
And before the snaps, it's an indicator, right? You got motion, you're going to see a lot of
by indicator motion. You mean you get to identify the defense.
The coverage, is it man coverage, somebody running across with them, or do they sit there in a zone?
That's right, Coach.
This is man coverage.
Jets down to their last time out now.
Here comes Jamal Anderson.
And they hand it off to Blue. Nowhere to go. Good coverage by the Jets. Brandon Copeland credited with the tackle. Avery Williamson there as well.
And the Jets blitz almost more than anybody. 5th-ranked blitzing team in the league, and they haven't blitzed a lot tonight. Maybe they're going to get Jamal Adams more involved at the line of scrimmage, bringing pressure off the edge like they did just then.
This is as big a 3rd down for this Jets defense as it is for the Houston offense. starting to get the feeling Jets can't let this one get away. Watson dancing around, flags down. And he just throws that one out of bounds.
Well, it's a long way to go to throw it away, but that was a smart play.
Yeah, I'm exhausted up here watching him run around like that.
And they're discussing this with the Jets sideline, whatever it is. It's
Illegal shift by the offense. That penalty is declined. It brings up 4th down.
So the Jets get the stop they needed. Going to bring up a punting situation for Houston.
Yeah, they're going to run. They're going to try a field goal
Actually,
from
they're going to
here.
try a field goal.
53 yards.
Yeah. 53-yard attempt from Fairbairn.
He's already got a 41 and a 32 today.
54 is his long on the year. High snap. They get it down. And Fairbairn puts it through. Plenty of leg on that one. Well, the Jets prevent another touchdown. The Texans get another field goal.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by Bose, official sound of the NFL.
And one of the great traditions here with the Jets, First Responders Night. They have it each year, honoring all the first responders from the New York and New Jersey area, police, firefighters, and those who put their lives on the line day in and day out to protect ours. You know, not only from the New York Jets, we all say thank you.
You're right about that. Well said, Kurt. Before the game, J.J. Watt throws to the fans, as we all know. He stopped and paused, he scanned the field, and he saw some law enforcement. Started throwing the ball to them. And then he took a picture, and of course, everybody in the crowd stood on their feet and gave him an applause. And it's J.J. Watt, man, that's what he does. Just like him, he appreciates those who risk their lives to protect us. So we appreciate them.
Well said.
Andre Roberts standing deep, trying to get something going for the Jets as they find themselves down 16-3. Short kick. Roberts ran out of running room. Stopped at the 17-yard line. Great coverage by Buddy Howell and the Texans.
Real important now for the Jets to answer. When somebody scores points on you, you want to come on back, settle down a little bit, get some things started. They can't make it all up with one play,
all right,
or even one drive. But like I said earlier, you got to make first downs.
Now, Coach, you're saying that, right? Say I'm Robbie Anderson. I come to you. Say, Coach, just throw me the ball. I need to make a play. We're not getting anything on the ground. How do you answer that?
Well, you got to throw him high percentage throws where you can complete passes.
Yeah.
Well, Anderson's down at the bottom of your screen. Eli McGuire stutter steps.
You're right,
good
Coach.
move with that second effort.
It looks like they're sticking to the script. They started the game off by running the ball. Didn't quite work. They've had some moments so far this game, but they started this drive off trying to attack the ground, control the clock, control the play.
Well, 2nd and 4. That's a good situation to be in now.
There's Jeremy Bates, and he was talking to us yesterday, and he said, you know, we're not fast enough to keep up with that D-line, so we have to run the ball like they're doing right
go
here.
with 6 offensive linemen, and that didn't work at all. 6 guys in there that he certainly didn't block Whitney Merciless.
Could say six offensive linemen. That didn't work at all.
You're going to sling it now. You're going to get probably tight man coverage and a little pressure on the young quarterback, but he's got to make a play right here, move the sticks.
I would expect if something does break down or he doesn't get exactly what he wants in coverage, Coach, you got to extend the pocket with your feet. We know that he can make plays when he's outside the pocket. That might be your best chance at making a play 3rd and short.
Just to get him to scramble a little bit.
You're right about that.
3rd and 3.
There it is.
He goes.
Using those legs to get the first down and more. Exactly what the Jets needed out to the 35-yard line.
You know, he's a better athlete than you might think, because this guy now, great basketball player coming out of high school, great athletic confidence. This is a little up and out escape. His eyes are still downfield, picks up some blocks, knows where the sticks are. First down, Jets. Well done.
Yeah, when we were talking to him, he said, early on in this season, I panicked a little bit. I went through my reads quickly. And I didn't know what to do with the ball on every single down. Now he's saying, I'm going through my progressions. I'm not going to panic. And if I got to get out there, I will. Just like he did when he picked up that first down.
Gain of 10 on the run. Back to throw, scrambling again to his left, looking to throw on the run, does so, and it's caught. Chris Herndon, the tight end, right at midfield. Great job of keeping your eye downfield by the rookie quarterback.
I love watching these young quarterbacks that are mobile now because they can get out of the pocket and really make some good things happen. That's well done.
You know, we're going to use the word scramble, scramble, scramble. And we're not talking about your eggs in the morning. We're talking about a quarterback that can step outside the pocket and extend the play. And check him out right here. You know he's going to take a shot.
Yep.
There's Davian Clowney. He still gets that ball out of his hand.
They didn't get the snap before the 2-minute warning, though. Gain of 17. They were trying to hurry up and get it, but they couldn't. So we're at the 2-minute warning. Darnold and the Jets trying to inch it a little bit closer. Well, coming up on the Lexus halftime report, Rich, Michael Irvin, and Maurice Jones-Drew will have an interview with Baker Mayfield as they get you set for the Browns and Broncos, all coming up in the Lexus halftime report.
Hey, and how about that? There's the Burleson family right there. There's my beautiful wife, Atoya. There's Nehemiah right there with his legs up, thinking he's at home. Get your feet down. There's little Nate and cousin Miles right there.
And then right there is Rich Russo, who's the director for the A Crew at Fox with Troy Aikman and Joe Buck.
There we go.
Everybody's at this game.
All in the family, huh?
America's at rapt attention for the Texans and Jets live. Here's Sam Darnold throwing on the run, gets it out to McGuire. And we have seen out of Darnold in this possession a little bit more mobility. They've gotten him out of the pocket. He's been forced out of the pocket at times as well, but he seems more comfortable this way.
He's been under duress most of the game, but yeah, he handles it. He knows when to stay in the pocket. He knows when to leave and when to throw it quickly like he just did. Got the ball out of bounds. That was smart.
But guys, just keep in mind that this Houston Texans defense is mixing up those looks. Hope he doesn't get confused as he is a young rookie.
Gain of 4 in the last play. Darnold zips that one. Another Jets first down. Chris Herndon with the reception.
We should be on the ball now. Let's go. We have a 2-minute drill going on. Quick huddle.
That was a laser right there, folks. Herndon right there. Pops down right there in the slot. Hits a laser right to him. Good pickup.
Movement early before the snap. False start against the Jets, this will be. We'll get the call from Brad Allen here. He's asking the Jets if they want to take a timeout, which would be their last, or the 10-second runoff, because they had a false start to stop the clock with less than 2 minutes left.
I'd take the 10-second runoff and keep that timeout for a more important play.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. It remains first down. Because we were inside 2 minutes and the clock was running, this foul carries a 10-second runoff. Please set the game clock to 1:19. It will start on my signal.
So they did exactly what you said. Take the time off the clock, keep the time out.
That's no big deal. We still have a 1:19 and a timeout. A lot of time to score points in this half.
It looks like there's too high safety look. Keep your eye on Robbie Anderson in the slot. He's one of those guys that can split that seam. You can take a shot towards the middle of the field.
In the slot to Darnold's right. Standing right on top of the numbers at the 40. Under pressure again. Middle of the field open. Pass is caught. Jordan Leggett, the tight end. Gain of 8. Clock keeps moving.
A nice job in the pocket. Buying some time, finding the open receiver. Let's call a play. Here we go.
This is how Darnold looked in that fourth quarter. Running the hurry-up offense. Wide open. Robbie Anderson inside the 10 down to the 5.
Run up and clock it right now if they wanted to. Get on up there. Come on, get up there.
And instead the Jets use their final timeout. But we talked about it's amazing how much more comfortable Darnold looks in a hurry-up offense.
Yeah, and you'll see right here, he's going to extend the pocket a little bit, but check out Robbie Anderson in the middle of the field. We said that you give a single high or two high look. There's gaps within the defense, and if you know that as a quarterback, you know exactly where your wide receiver is going to be, and there was Robbie Anderson, the recipient of running a deep post.
Yeah, Texans really played soft defense right there, but you've got 1st and goal now on the 5. You can get several plays off right now, but with no timeouts left, you're probably not going to run the football at all. And if Sam starts scrambling, he's got to either get out of bounds or throw it away. So we have multiple plays in here inside the 5.
He has to be aware of that. This is situational football. When talking to the offensive coordinator, Jeremy Bates, he was saying, Sam is a little bit more comfortable in some of the situational football, and by that I mean this exact situation, 2-minute drill. Now you're on the 5. You have the ability to score right before halftime, but you have to make smart decisions, knowing how much time is on the clock and knowing that you don't have timeouts.
1st and goal from the 5. Darnold has the time, pulls it down, throws, touchdown Jets, Robbie Anderson.
That was terrific.
Well, that drive was about as well executed as you can ask for.
And the common thread through that drive was Sam Darnold using his feet. I mean, it brings the defense so much closer to you, which opens up the passing game. Because if they have to worry about you passing, that's one thing. If they have to worry about the quarterback running, that opens up the defense, Coach.
And he used tight ends, receivers, running backs for completions, his legs, his arm. That was one of his better drives of the season right there when he really needed it.
Right about that,
Coach. 9 plays, 83 yards.
Missed it.
They missed the field, the extra point.
Now here's the touchdown. Let's take a look at this. Missed that extra point.
And I want you to pay attention. There it is right there. Robbie Anderson, he's actually bracketed right now, and he's going to trail the back of the end zone. I want you to pay attention, though.
Sam was good in the pocket. He knew where that line of scrimmage, so he didn't cross it. In the back of the end zone, that's the safest place to throw the ball, right?
And that's it. And this wasn't the plan, Coach. He wasn't running a back line route. He was actually running a slant. The reason that route was able to be continued is because Sam Darnold steps up, and all of a sudden the defense saying, whoa, wait a minute, let's stop the quarterback from rushing and getting a rushing touchdown. And now you pull that ball back up and drop a dime right over the top of those linebackers.
Yeah, that was an excellent drive.
It was still 9 plays and 83 yards. 4 minutes, 5 seconds. They get the touchdown. Darnold, we talked about, he looked good at the end of the 4th quarter last week. He looked good during that 4-minute drill. And that's one of the things that the coaches have said is that he missed those 3 games. He had a chance to kind of watch and see how this offense was executed, and has been better since he's come back.
Nate mentioned it earlier. It's situational football.
Yeah.
2-minute drill, 4-minute drill, 3rd downs, red zone, all those things where these young quarterbacks will get better by playing the game.
Darnold going to go in at halftime, barring a big play here by the Texans, within a touchdown.
Now here's the thing. As the Jets are getting ready for this game, they understand that their future's on the line. These guys, though, the Texans, I mean, all of the implications of the playoffs, being around the corner, them sniffing the postseason, they have to keep everything in mind, especially going into halftime.
Yeah, and a play like this with 30 seconds, it's either probably a draw or a screen and see what you get. Nothing crazy.
Watson. Down the sideline, just throws it away. Texans scored on their first 4 possessions, but 3 of them were for field goals, and that's kept the Jets in this game.
They're going to be happy about having the lead at halftime, but a little disappointed in how they finished drives. Too many field goal attempts. You want to finish drives, of course, in the end zone and get a comfortable lead here, which they really don't have.
Yeah, I don't know if you're the Jets. You're not happy that you're down, but you are happy that you're in it. The mistakes made in this game, the lost fumble, and still very much so in this game.
Watson brought down. Second sack by Henry Anderson tonight.
Let it run and get out of here.
Yeah, that ought to do it.
You got Deshaun Watson walking to the locker room already saying, that's enough. Let me go ahead and meet the fellas in the locker room.
And so what a first half it has proven to be. A lot closer than I think everyone thought. But this works in the Texans' favor. You see the record under Bill O'Brien, 30-1 when leading at halftime. They've got the lead. Here's the Lexus halftime report. Pretty good half of football as the Texans lead at 16-9, trying to get one step closer to wrapping up the AFC South and that second seed in the AFC. Kurt Menefee along with the coach Steve Mariucci and Nate Burleson. Guys, we had a pretty good first half, particularly the play of both those quarterbacks, specifically Sam Darnold there in that last drive.
How about Sam Darnold in the last drive? They're down 16-3, and he makes some plays with his arm, with his legs. Look at the mobility right here, running for the first down. Very aware. Here he goes again. First down, get out of bounds. And he's 14 of 19 for 142 yards, but he made some real opportunistic first downs. There's your touchdown to Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, he's out here making plays, and there's Deshaun Watson, who said, I didn't feel like myself till about week 5. Well, I'll tell you what, you look great, and the recipient is that guy right there, DeAndre Hopkins. He's coming into this game with 1,100 yards, one of the best receivers in the game, and we always know that he can go up there and get that 50-50 ball, but he's one of the best route runners we see in the NFL.
Both teams doing a nice job through the air there in that first half. And the one turnover was a fumble by Eli McGuire forced by J.J. Watt, which led to the Texans' only touchdown. Houston will get the ball to start the second half.
Now coming out of halftime, the Jets, they got to be confident, knowing the mistakes that they made, still very much in this game, Coach.
I'm going to watch and see how they play Jamal Adams, because they're a blitzing team that hasn't blitzed very often, and I think they're going to start dialing it up a little bit.
Let's check in with Melissa Stark.
Well, Texans head coach Bill O'Brien told us yesterday if you had the lead at halftime, you'd feel okay. He said to me, no, we should have a lot more points. We got to run the ball better and execute better in the red zone. I asked him about that final drive. He said he's a scrambling quarterback. We got to keep him in the pocket. As for the Jets, head coach Todd Bowles loved his athleticism on that final drive, Sam Darnold, and he said he stepped up in the pocket, and he said as far as defensively, as long as we keep their quarterback in the pocket, we'll be okay.
Well, they'll try and do it here as the Texans start at the 25. Alfred Blue still in the game. We saw Lamar Miller leave in the first half with a foot injury or ankle injury. And so Blue picks up a couple of yards there. And Houston scored the first 4 times they touched the ball, but as we said, 3 of them were field goals, and that's why Bill O'Brien not happy.
Yeah, you got to finish drives now. You don't win a lot of football games kicking field goals. You want to have touchdowns, and Alfred Blue is still in the game, right? And he's their power back. You want to establish something right away in this half.
He's going to have to be more than the power back if Miller's going to stay on that sideline. Pressure on Watson, and he is sacked. Jets came on the blitz. Jordan Jenkins brought him down.
And Jordan Jenkins leads the team in sacks this year. When he brings it, he's coached by Kevin Green, the Hall of Fame sacker. And boy, that was big. Creates a 3rd and long for the Texans.
That's it, coming right off the edge right there. You'll see him gets to the quarterback, and that's what you want to do with Deshaun Watson. You know, him being that explosive. Now, what is he going to do for this 3rd down? Coming off of a sack, is he going to be a little bit gun shy? Is he going to pull back and run it? Getting a sack on a quarterback like this, it gives that advantage to the defense.
They've got to keep him in the pocket. Here comes the blitz.
And the whistles were blown before the snap. Looks like Houston called a timeout.
Prior to the snap, charge timeout. Houston, they're first. It will be 30 seconds.
Yeah, you don't want to have to take a timeout in your first series.
A minute and a half into the second half, right after a sack as well. So a little discombobulated on offense, the Texans are right now.
Credit to the Jets coming out at halftime. You know, if they're going to play spoiler, they're going to play spoiler. I remember talking to Sam Darnold a couple days ago, and I said, is there something to you guys putting a little bit of a damper on the Texans season? He said, that's not why I play the game. I'm here to play good football. It seems like that Jets defense right now is playing some good football.
They have been solid. Other than the one 45-yard touchdown pass after, the Jets turned it over on offense. We'll see if the Jets defense can make one more stop. Watson brought down again. Henry Anderson again.
That was a huge series now for the Jets. They've got momentum. They scored on offense just before the half. Now they go 3 and out on defense. Livens his crowd up just a little bit. Frankie Louvu was spying on Deshaun Watson that time, and that's why he hung on to the ball, because there was really nowhere to go, and he held the ball long enough for the rush to get home.
That's right.
4 sacks by this Jets defense, 3 by Henry Anderson, and it sets up the first punt by Houston all day. Andre Roberts leads the NFL in punt return average, starting at his 30. Right in the middle of traffic, brings it back about 10 yards to the 40. But the Jets get their defense to hold Houston to nothing to start the second half. We'll see what their offense can do when we come back.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by Verizon. Get the gift you want on the network you deserve. And by KFC's $20 fill-up. It's finger-licking good.
Even on the road, J.J. Watt's a man of the people.
They love him everywhere, don't they?
I was on that sideline where he was tossing with the fans, sitting there with my wife and my kids, and it took everything in me not to be a fan. I went to yo, JJ,
throw it to me, JJ.
Throw it to me. And I kept my composure, guys. I'm a professional.
Good.
Sam Darnold was composed at the end of that first half. 6 for 6 and a touchdown pass in that last drive. We'll see how he opens up the second half. Hands it off to Trenton Cannon. Bouncing it outside, doesn't get anywhere, no gain on the play. Well, we talked about Darnold's composure. A lot of that has to do with who he's in that quarterback room with, right, Melissa?
Well, yes, veteran quarterback Josh McCown has been a mentor, almost a coach for Darnold. I asked him, what makes you think he's great? He said he shies away from nothing, asks all the right questions, puts the time in, very wise for a 21-year-old. He's been around a lot of quarterbacks. I said, who does he remind you of? A little of Tony Romo when he's outside the pocket, makes his throws accurately, keeps his eyes up. A little of Carson Palmer when he's in the pocket. That's a heck of a combo, Kurt.
And McCown's been in this league 16 years. He's seen a lot of guys as Darnold gets away and completes it right near the first down mark. And now they're saying incomplete.
Complete pass.
Surprised they didn't call the hands to the face.
And you got Brandon Shell on the ground.
Exactly, have a lineman down as well. Brandon Shell, their right tackle who started each and every game this season, going up against Clowney.
And you'll see it
Pardon me, he's on the other side against Watt.
Oh, there he is.
Sometimes it's friendly fire for those linemen that landed on.
Yeah.
And they only suited up 7 offensive linemen, so we'll see who replaces them over there at the right tackle spot. He's going to have to block J.J. Watt.
It's unfortunate when you see the big fellas go down because they carry so much weight.
We'll be back. Well, Brandon Shell about to be carted off. Both teams coming out to wish him well. They've been working on that left leg while he was down.
You'll see it right here. He just gets rolled up on, which that's always a recipe for disaster. Unfortunately, I know what that feels like. I'm not assuming what the injury is, but I remember tearing my ACL in 08. And I thought I'll never bounce back. And then I broke my leg a few years later when I was playing for the Detroit Lions. And I was able to bounce back from that. Luckily, we're in a day and age where the technology, the help, the medical staffs on each team can help these guys bounce back sooner than later.
Brent Qualley comes in to replace him in right tackle. J.J. Watt's lined up right over him. 3rd and 10. Darnold scrambles the other way. Throws. Up in the air, Robbie Anderson with the grab.
Oh, wow.
You see what they did? You know, you got Qualley over there on J.J. Watt, so they ran sprint out away from J.J. Watt. Sam Darnold's very good on the move. He threw this one up and over the top of Sharice Wright.
And that right there is a whole shot. And, of course, I got to say it, Coach.
Say
that
it.
looks like some toe drag swag. And there is my guy, Josh McCown, cheering his guys on. That was a beautiful play, Coach. A little reverse spin.
I like it.
On that spin out.
20 yards on the pickup to the Texan 40. The handoff. Trenton Cannon through a hole. Still dancing.
A nice run.
There's towels and everything going flying, and Cannon picks up 8.
J.J. Watt was in the backfield, almost made that play at the mesh point, just a titch late, all right?
Yeah, surprise, surprise, J.J. Watt's in the backfield. But here's the thing, Coach. Listen, credit to the Jets. They go into halftime. They're down. But here's a number you may not know. They were leading in total yards in this game. So if you're a leader of this team, you're Sam Darnold, you're saying defense, you gave up one big play, but you're kicking butt. Offense, we're leading in total yards. We are playing like the better team today. Let's go prove it in the second half. And so far they have.
Leading in total yards, time of possession. Here's Eli McGuire. Another big run. Slips J.J. Watt into the Texans secondary and down inside the 20.
Little zone read now. Eli McGuire inside zone. They're going to read J.J. Watt. Eli now, what a great athlete he is. He played college basketball. Missed the first half of the season with an injury, and here he is carrying the load. Watch J.J. Watt up the field. This is an easy read.
I ran into Eli McGuire before the game. He said, "What's up, big dog?" I said, "You ready?"
He called me big dog.
He called me big dog. I said, "You going to celebrate when you score?" He said, "Nah." I said, "We only got a few games left. Go ahead and do a little something." So let's see if he gets in the end zone.
Got to score first.
You're right about that.
He's going to have a chance. Cuts it back. And as we mentioned, Bilal Powell goes down with a neck injury early in the season for the Jets at running back. This week they lose Isaiah Crowell. They're down to this guy, their third starter, and he's a young man, second year. And the coaches tell you, they say he's really smart. The thing is, he's extremely quiet. He doesn't say a word, so they don't know how to get him excited.
Well,
running the football, I think, will get him excited.
He scored the winning touchdown against the Bills last week, and boy, he's going in again right here to try to tie this thing up.
And he's got Big Dozier in front of him. The offensive lineman. They fake the handoff to Dozier. No one bought it.
I'd love to see him give him the ball. Give Dozier the ball.
You know what I love about this drive? That they are attacking the heart of this Houston Texans defense. You know, going into this game, you'd say, of course, the Texans front seven, they have the advantage. But if you're the Jets, like, hit them where their heart is.
Yeah.
Hit them where their strength is. And that's what they're doing, running downhill, taking the wind out of that man right there. You see him huffing and puffing. Attack J.J. Watt, because he's going to attack you if you run away from him.
And then we got to throw the ball quickly here. We got some bump and run across the board. Look for Robbie Anderson here.
8th play of the drive coming up for the Jets. Darnold on third down. Looking towards the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Andre Roberts.
Wow.
It's a double move, Coach.
We call it a sluggo, a slant, go.
Okay.
The corner bid on it.
And check it out. The Mr. Special Teamer. He can also play wide receiver. Watch how he breaks in on this under route. The key is that he keeps his eyes on his quarterback. Of course, the DB is going to bite on that every single time. It's the small details, though. To do a double move, has to be more than just a couple of steps. If you turn your shoulders, you commit with your eyes, the DB is going to do the same. Commit with his eyes and his shoulders and bite on the fake.
Right now, he's been beat on double moves before, so this was part of the red zone game plan.
And Jason Myers just missed his second extra point of the night.
Wow. What?
So instead of having a 1-point lead, the Jets are down by 1 after the second touchdown pass of the night from Darnold. Andre Roberts with a 13-yard score. Jets, look at these last two drives. At the end of the first half and the beginning of this third quarter, marched it right downfield and gotten touchdowns each time. Unfortunately, they missed a point after both times. Hence the 1-point deficit. But this Jets offense seems to have gotten into a rhythm.
They are, and they're confident right now. They can't wait to get back on the field because they feel they can go down and score again. And the defense got a 3-and-out too. Right now, momentum is wearing a Jets jersey.
All right, we're here in New Jersey this week. Next weekend, it's another doubleheader here on the NFL Network. First, the Redskins will take on the Tennessee Titans. And then the Ravens will face the Chargers in a big matchup of teams looking to make it into the AFC playoffs, although the Chargers are already there after a huge win on Thursday night. It all starts next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern, only here on NFL Network.
And how about those Chargers?
Well,
pulling off
go for 2.
big win.
Maybe Los Angeles, new team. instead of just the other team. As Watson, Buster Screen, sniffed that one out.
Now played with a young Buster Screen when he was with the Cleveland Browns, just trying to get on the field. He soon became a Jet and has become one of the best nickelbacks in the game because he's aggressive at the line of scrimmage. Oftentimes a little too aggressive, but that right there bodes him well. Keeping his eye on Deshaun Watson and then shooting his shot as soon as he saw him keep it.
How many teams did you play for?
I played for all 32.
It feels like it. Here's Watson, fake the end around. Has time, running out, sack again. Harry Anderson just missed the sack, but Brandon Copeland cleaned it up.
In some ways, this is a coverage sack now. Deshaun Watson had nowhere to go with the football. He's looking downfield, trying to find someone open. The rush eventually gets to him. Now it's third and real long.
And Watson's been sacked 5 times already in this game.
Listen, and credit to the defensive backfield for the Jets. Just draped all over the wide receivers of the Texans. This is a huge third down.
Need to get it all the way to the 35-yard line. Quick screen pass. Throwing out to Demarius Thomas. It's going to be well short of the first down. There's Jamal Adams to clean it up.
Yeah, and Jamal Adams now, he's one of the best safeties in the National Football League. And this team now blitzes more than most everybody in the league, and they're starting to dial some up with some pressures. Boy, Jamal Adams, for safeties, he's got the most quarterback hits, most forced fumbles, most tackles for losses. Great, great player.
Coach, you said momentum is wearing a Jets jersey. I wouldn't be surprised if this has a little hang time on it. And Mr. Roberts is a big return.
Who scored the last touchdown from the 24. Can't get around the corner. Well, the last 2 drives, Sam Darnold has been everything you could hope for.
They've been lights out. He's been using his legs, and all of this stuff is coming when he doesn't have anything downfield. And here you see the touchdown to Robbie Anderson. The reason he was able to run that secondary route is because he extended the play. Here he is outside the pocket, hitting the beautiful ball on the sideline. Josh McCown loving it. And here's just traditional. Drop back. See that perfect spiral on the double move, Coach.
You know what? And we've got 5 rookie quarterbacks starting in the National Football League. This guy right here and Baker Mayfield both have 4 wins under their belt already. And Sam says, I want to get my 5th right now.
I don't think many people would have suspected, if you asked which rookie quarterback has the most wins, that Sam Darnold would be tied with Baker. Here's the handoff taken by Trenton Cannon. Short pickup.
Now, I know that they want to establish a run, which it seems like they start off every drive with that, but let's credit this offense. Let's credit Jeremy Bates, the OC, Sam Darnold, for spreading the wealth a little bit. Roberts on that touchdown, he's the 9th different receiver catching a ball today. So that right there, it shows the versatility of this offense. It shows that he can hit different guys. And if you're playing a defense that can get after the quarterback, a linebacker core that's fast and can go sideline to side, and DBs that can get their hands on balls, you have to spread it out and spread them out, Coach.
They spread Cannon out wide to the left, so empty backfield. Pressure picked up. Jermaine Kearse wrapped up. As soon as he caught it, Kareem Jackson was there to hit him.
Soft zone and drop the defensive lineman out into coverage. Well, we got 3rd and short now, 3rd and doable. That's what they want to do, to move the sticks. You mentioned Andre Roberts. He only had 4 catches the entire season, and he gets that big touchdown for the Jets.
Quick snap. Couldn't quite get it. Trenton Cannon just mistimed that one again.
Yeah.
And the Jets had him.
Great throw. You just got to hang on to that one and move the sticks.
Yeah, here he is running right into the flat. Sam puts it on a beautiful spiral, and he tries to corral it with his body. You got to turn those thumbs over, put that diamond up like I tell my kids that are playing football in Pop Warner, and then catch the ball. You can't catch it with your body as you're running sideways. That ball will squeak by every time.
Lachlan Edwards on the punt. Standing back at his 10-yard line, DeAndre Carter, but there's a flag first.
They're going to back him up 5 more yards here.
False start. Kicking team number 83. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Falls on Eric Tomlinson, the former Texan.
And this is what you don't want to see. The first half, there were a ton of penalties for the Jets. Things started to slip away. Now that you have the momentum, Coach, don't start making mistake after mistake after mistake. Because you know what good teams do?
What?
They take advantage of those mistakes.
They sure do. It's a return ball.
Carter tripped up. Great open field tackle made by Trenton Cannon. That's a way to recover from dropping that football.
You
That's
drop,
exactly
you drop
right,
a pass, and then you drop the returner back to back. Good job.
Yeah, and here it is. Shot right out.
Big save because he had some room.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL.
You'd probably be happier had they made those 2-point after attempts. Those extra points depressing the guy. Otherwise, this Jets team is playing hard and playing well, particularly with this defense. Last 8 plays for Houston, minus 14 yards. Here they are on first down. Here comes the pressure. Watson gets away from screen and look chased down in the open field by Neville Hewitt.
And that's what Casey Rogers, the defensive coordinator, likes to do. Bring pressure from safeties, from nickels, from linebackers. Going with no huddle.
Check out the stats right here. The Jets just dominating this game. Total yards 240 to 158. They're mixing it up on offense, and that's what the Texans have to do.
Quick pass thrown out to Demaryius Thomas. Nowhere to run.
And there's a reason there's a quick pass, because they don't feel they have time to put him back in the pocket. 5- and 7-step drops because he's getting too many people in his face early.
Jets coming with the pressure. Jamal Adams in there as part of the tackle.
Yeah, and there's 2 ways that you can go after Deshaun Watson. You can sit back and let him pick you apart, or you can speed up his clock, and that's what they did that first blitz by Buster Screen, and then on that last play, just anticipating the screen play and then hitting the sidelines and running sideline.
Brings up another 3rd down. Jets showing pressure. Here they come. Watson throws it quickly to the tight end, but not nearly enough for the first down as Ryan Griffin is wrapped up right away by Kevin Pierre-Louis.
What a great series by the Jets defense. Pressure, 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 and the Texans aren't able to handle it right now. Here they come off the edge, off this edge.
Yeah, Coach, you know, there's something that I teach my young Pop Warner team to say before the game. One guy says, "You got my back." The next guy says, "I got your back." You got my back, I got your back. So what happens when you send the blitz?
They got your back.
They got your back. The linebackers, they have to maintain discipline and know exactly where the weaknesses are.
This punt is shanked. Trevor Daniel had that one go off the side of his foot. Didn't even stay in bounds. But this is going to be great field position for the Jets without even having to worry about a return. Well, keep in mind that the playoffs are still on the line for a lot of people in the AFC, so Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns, they still got a shot as they take on Von Miller and the Broncos, who also have a shot. That game comes your way only on NFL Network when we are done here in New Jersey. Only 36 yards on that punt, went out of bounds at the 44-yard line, so excellent starting field position here for Sam Darnold and the Jets.
Watch right here. J.J. Watt against Brent Crawley.
Flags before the snap.
Jermaine Kearse just twitched just a hair, and that's enough for a flag to be thrown.
Offense number 10. 5-yard penalty. First down.
All right, so the Jets have moved the ball really well the last 2 times they touched it. This one starts off with a penalty. You don't want to start having negative plays to take away the momentum that you've gotten.
That's right. They've created momentum right now. And, Coach, you said it earlier, that momentum is wearing a Jets jersey. Don't let it get stripped off of you because of these idiotic mistakes. And I hate to use such a harsh word, but if I'm a coach on the sideline, guys, don't throw this game away.
Darnold pulls it down. Look at that mobility. Well, that's as entertaining a 1-yard run as we've seen.
It is, and I thought, though, that when Jonathan Joseph came up and came out of coverage, I thought that Sam Darnold would drop this over the top.
Yeah.
Watch as he gets out here to the right. He had a chance to throw the ball down the field over here.
That's
right
pretty
now.
Sweet. That little mini hurdle was pretty sweet right there. How many times you see J.J. Watt get that close to a quarterback and not take him down? Seems like Sam Darnold, he's been studying his playbook and his game plan, knowing exactly who's going up against.
Handoff to McGuire. Hit in the backfield, McKinney. The Texans' leading tackler coming up with a big one there.
Yeah, and Benardrick McKinney, what a great player he is. He is their captain on defense. He gets the call from Romeo Crennel.
You check him out right here, just coming straight downhill, recognizing that it's a run with zero hesitation. If you go right now, you'll make that play in the backfield. Benardrick McKinney, for him to be that big, he moves fast. And my God, Romeo calling these plays, knowing exactly who's going up against. He said, what are you going to do against Sam? He said, we're going to bring a little pressure, see if he can handle it.
Crennel's been in this league a long time, his 4th decade as an NFL coach. 3rd and long. Darnold underneath, Roberts nowhere to go. Caught by another big man, Christian Covington, and there's a flag down in the backfield. This Texans defense had the Jets stopped. We'll see what the penalty is.
Holding. Offense number 79. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
And that's your backup offensive tackle. He's playing for Brandon Shell, who came out injured. Brent Qualley's got a tough job now. Finished this game against J.J. Watt.
Now this Texans defense, they've made some plays here in the second half. Now the offense, they got to get going and match the intensity of what the defense is doing to this Jets offense.
Here's Lachlan Edwards on the punt. As we reach the final minute and a half of this 3rd quarter. DeAndre Carter back, calls for the fair catch. Makes it at about the 12-yard line. Well, the Houston Texans will start deep in their own territory yet again in what is an important game for them. If they win today and the Colts and Titans lose tomorrow, then they will clinch the AFC South. Now, any combination of one more win and 2 more losses by those 2 teams, or 2 more wins by the Texans, they clinch the division. The problem is they're not playing well right now. You can win the division, but you want to be playing well going into the playoffs.
The month of December is about working out all the kinks so you go into the postseason with the right rhythm.
Here's the snap and the handoff. Alfred Blue still in there. Alfred Blue still nowhere to run. Neville Hewitt with the tackle. Gain of about 1.5 yards.
And again, the Jets blitz, but this was a run blitz. This was a linebacker. They're hitting every gap right now, assuming that the Texans are going to try to run the football a little bit here, and they're hitting those gaps, see if they can cause a tackle for loss.
Texans go into backfield. Here comes the pressure again. Open this time is DeAndre Carter, and he's got running room into Jets territory. Chased down from behind by Jamal Adams, but a huge gain for the Texans. 50 yards.
Wow, that was big. Sean Watson really did a nice job. Here comes the blitz. It's a zone blitz. Yeah, and he found the open receiver. A lot of running room for the punt returner. He can scoot.
And if you know that blitz is coming, just replace the blitzer. Big play.
And they race to the line. Alfred Blue back to the line of scrimmage.
I'm not sure why the race is to the line, Coach. I get it that they have a 1-point lead, but you're controlling the game. You're controlling the narrative. Now control your energy. You're not in a rush. Go out there and take your time. Let's get in the end zone on this drive.
And this one's coming down to the 4th quarter. It has been a good 3 quarters of football here at the Meadowlands. Houston on top, 16-15. This NFL Network special continues right after this. Ready to start the 4th quarter. Curt Menefee, Steve Mariucci, Nate Burleson, and Melissa Stark with you from MetLife Stadium, where the Houston Texans are holding on to a 1-point lead against the Jets, who have missed 2 extra points in this game today. And you're starting to get to this stage where you're wondering, where's DeAndre Hopkins?
Exactly. Beginning of the game, They were feeding their number one wide receiver, not so much in the second half.
Here's Watson. Looking. There he is. First down.
You know, when you said, where's DeAndre Hopkins? I look out there, and there's nobody lined up over the top of him.
Right.
He had a free run at this safety, and he sat it down for an easy first down.
And that's it. You'll see the safety single high. But there it's just popped right into open space. If you're Deshaun Watson, knowing exactly where your number one wide receiver is, you hit him right on the money.
Quick pass out to Demaryius Thomas. Loses a yard on the play.
It's good defense.
Now, I've seen Demaryius Thomas catch a few screen balls right at the line of scrimmage this game, and I love Demaryius Thomas, one of the better wide receivers of his era. But I would love to see him go downfield, though. Yeah. He's not the burner that's going to catch it at the line of scrimmage and take off and beat you for a touchdown. Use that big body, that big frame.
6'3", 230.
You're right near the end zone. Give him a chance to go up and make a play. Most of the time, he's going to go coverage.
Now we got Hopkins in the slot here again. Right here.
Watson looking that way. Gets it to Hopkins.
There it is, Coach.
All right. You got to feed him the ball because I don't see enough coverage going his way.
And here it is, Coach. You got him here on the inside. It's just a simple out route. And once he gets to the sideline, he's one of the best in the business at tracking and getting upfield. Credit to the DB, getting his feet clipped right there. But DeAndre Hopkins makes him so special is that you can put him on the outside, put him on a go route, a post route. You put him on the inside where he's virtually unstoppable because you've got him matched up against your nickel back, which is your third-tier DB, or a safety. He's going to win every time.
Third and short. I'm going to see some pressure right now.
Jets showing pressure. And everybody's coming. Sack. Jamal Adams. 6th sack of the game for this Jets defense.
When we talk to this guy, he says, I love playing in the box and blitzing and getting my hands dirty. That's exactly what he does best, and he's their Energizer Bunny. He's the best player on this defense, Jamal Adams.
That's right, and we call this one a zero blitz, and there it is. You see Jamal Adams getting to Deshaun Watson. And what I mean by zero blitz, I mean it's one-on-one coverage across the board. So if we're sending one guy, two guys, three guys, you got to land. You got to get home and get to the quarterback. And Jamal, just like you said, Casey Rogers, the DC, said he loves playing in the box.
Ka'imi Fairbairn. His 4th field goal of the night. This one from 49 yards away. And it extends the lead to 4. 19-15, Houston. Houston trying to get their 10th win this season, but this Jets defense has been stout, holding them to 4 field goals and just a touchdown as we're here in the 4th quarter. Ka'imi Fairbairn has had those 4 field goals for the Texans.
And they're kicking field goals because Casey Rogers' defense seems to be dialing it up a little bit more here in the second half. And they're getting home, and they're causing a lot of problems for protection on Deshaun Watson. I like how the Jets are playing defense right now.
Well, Coach, if you have nothing to lose, go ahead and send the house.
Send them.
Deshaun Watson has everything to gain every time he drops back. If you bring more guys than they can pick up, it gives them an ability to land home, and they have been.
Andre Roberts brings it out of the end zone. Dancing out across the 25-yard line. Well, a couple of guys on the field today. Whitney Mercilus for the Houston Texans and Kelvin Beachum for the New York Jets are the nominees for their respective teams for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide. And it's considered by many the most prestigious honor in all the league because it goes to players who have not only exhibited excellence on the field, but whose passion to impact lives extends beyond the game and has led them to lead a positive life off the field and leave their legacies in their respective communities. And it is an award you talk to any player who's ever been nominated by his team, and that's as big an honor as they can get. Absolutely. Here's Sam Darnold out to Eli McGuire. And McGuire forced out of bounds after a pickup of about 8. on the play.
And Sam, you know, this half, he looks like he's very much in control right now.
Yeah.
He understands his protection, where the blitzes are coming from, where his checkdowns are, and he looks calm to me right now. I like his demeanor.
Yeah, Coach, key word right there, check down. When we were talking with Sam a couple of days ago, he said early on I was going through my progressions too fast, and I didn't lean on my running backs. He said now I can make 1, maybe 2 reads. After that, I'm going to dump it down to my running back and let him get all the yards.
Lesson learned.
Red 80. Reset.
McGuire started to go up the middle, decided to try and bounce it outside. Is going to be just that much short of the first down.
Yeah, you don't want to be bouncing when you only need a yard. You want to go straight ahead and go get it.
Here it is right here. You'll see it. He has a little bit of space. He decides to hit the sideline. Eli got a little hungry on that one. Wanted to go big.
Yeah, boy, very close. Let's measure
They
this
might want to measure that. Remember, as anybody who's ever watched 1/4 of football on television has heard, the yellow line's not official.
It's not?
It's not official. But you look at it, and it looks like it should be. Looks like that's not the same spot they got either. I think they got a bad spot.
Looks official to me. That looks like a little short. Eli should have went upfield and got those ugly yards, which would have got the first down.
Well, we're going to go get it right here. 3rd and a foot.
3rd and a foot, Coach. What do you do?
Well, you
Get
can
your
sneak
big,
it.
strong QB, the sneak.
You can. They're going to probably put J.J. Watt inside against the run here. They've been using him this season more on the edge. 75% of the time, J.J. Watt is an edge player. But he said to us, in run situations, he goes down inside and loves to mix it up.
Yeah, Coach, I've always been partial to the QB sneak. I'm not a big fan of turning around, turning your back to the defense, handing the ball off to a running back just to get short yardage. I get it. You got some big dogs that are going to clog up the middle. But if you take your time, there's gaps in between that defensive line. Just dive at the feet of one of those gaps. Easy first down.
Well, it's interesting. The Jets are a team that uses 6 linemen a lot. They use a lineman in the backfield, but they're going with 3 wide receivers here instead.
Red 80.
And an empty backfield on 3rd and a foot. Quarterback sneak.
There's that gap.
There you go. You don't need those linemen, apparently.
You know why they did that motion? To move out that linebacker. Check it out. You see the linebacker
coming over this
and there's that gap right there. You see exactly where it is. You don't panic. You don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. You see the young quarterback peeking that gap and taking advantage of that space. First down, Jets.
And the start of what looks like another efficient drive for Sam Darnold and New York. Here's Eli McGuire. Let me ask you guys this. Do you think, had he not missed those 3 games prior to coming back and playing last week, that this is the Sam Darnold we would be seeing?
Well, it's hard to say because, you know, he started off the season pretty darn well. That big win in Detroit, you saw that. But this guy right here, Josh McCown, he ought to be a coach. I hope when he's done playing, maybe next year, somebody hires him as a coach because he gets it. He can understand.
Uncle Josh,
these guys around.
or Johnny Bravo, as I like to call him.
Johnny Bravo.
You know, to answer your question, Kurt, I don't think so. I think that rest helped. I think he was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And that rest off the sideline allowed to see the game from a bird's eye view.
Here he is scrambling out of the pocket. And just throws that away. And that's one of the things he's talked about that he really learned. He was able to, he understood the offense before, but your head is swimming sometimes when you're a rookie. He was able to watch and observe someone run the offense that he knew the plays and say, oh, it's okay to throw it away every now and then.
Yeah, sometimes you got guys that are very confident in their arm and their ability to make throws in traffic, and he leads the league with interceptions, right? But you know what? He's learning to throw it in there when it's there, throw it away when it's not.
That's right.
It's part of his development.
See if he can convert this 3rd down. Four-man rush. Darnold out of the pocket, looking downfield, throws. Herndon, the tight end, catches it.
Get outside the pocket. Listen, here it is. Check him out. He's going to step up. He's going to evade the pocket. You extend the play with your feet, and you see that gap. And right there, watch how he pumps up field just enough to freeze the defense, baits him, hits that ball to Herndon. First down, Jets.
This was similar to a couple plays back where he ended up running with the ball.
That's right.
And he didn't remain a passer with his eyes downfield. That time he did, and he found somebody break open on the scramble. That's an excellent scramble for Sam Darnold right here. Big first down.
Yeah.
Gain of 27 yards on that pass play.
As a tight end, as a wide receiver, as a running back, there is nothing better than a quarterback that can extend the pocket. Those are some of my favorite QBs of all time, because you know you can run one route. As soon as you look back and you see him start to take off, and here it is right here. You see it. 14 for 19 inside the pocket, but still the 73 yards outside the pocket. Those are chain movers. Those are momentum grabbers. And that's why this offense is doing so well, because, of course, the traditional drop back, let me scan the field and make a play, that's cool, Coach. But when you get outside the pocket, that's when those big plays come, and that momentum and that confidence from your pass catcher starts to rise.
And that's that added dimension that these athletic quarterbacks have. They bring this to the table where you're making first downs off schedule. Very dangerous.
While at the same time completing more than 70% of his passes. He has been accurate today. Low snap, but he gets it. On the run again. Directing traffic. That one tipped. Bernardrick McKinney got a hand on it.
You know, we see him run inside to Eli, and then sooner or later you're going to come on out.
Yeah, I could tell he's feeling himself a little bit. Watch how he does a little point, like he's looking for his big man on a fast break. He's saying, hey, listen, Robbie Anderson, I want you to turn back to the inside of the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Now you're feeling a little saucy when you start to do things like that.
This is my fault. That's right, it was. He learned something there.
But as you said, his confidence obviously building as this game goes on. Bad snap. Whistles.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Yeah. Everyone knew the snap count except the man who had to snap the ball.
He's pretty
Jonathan Harrison.
No, he needs to know. Where's everybody going?
You had one job.
One
I
job.
thought it was on 2.
Makes the longer second down. Darnold stepping up, throwing. Robbie Anderson.
Beautiful.
Right at that first down marker.
You know what I love about this play? Texans, they rush 3. They're dropping 8 guys into coverage. And you have Robbie Anderson. You'll see him come in on the outside of your screen. He's screaming in right here. And that's the gap that you throw it in. Put it in perfect position for your wide receiver to catch it low and away from the hit, away from Tyrann Mathieu coming in to make a play on that ball. Now that right there is a vet throw from the young rookie quarterback.
Yeah, we got the big guy in here now.
On 3rd and 1, Dakota Dozier. The offensive lineman comes in.
Kill.
You heard Darnold saying kill. Didn't have the right play call for the defense he saw, and instead uses the timeout.
And that's right. For people at home that are sitting saying kill, what does it mean? I know it's
Charge timeout. Jets, they're first. It will be 30 seconds.
It's harsh words in today's society, but from a football standpoint, that means they have one play. You go up, you look at the line of scrimmage, you look at the defense, and you kill it to the second play called in the huddle, Coach.
Yeah.
I love that, though. When I was a young wide receiver, I always wanted to run the second play.
Why?
Because I knew if the quarterback had enough confidence to change the play, he saw something really good.
Oftentimes that second play is a run play. I thought you want him to throw the ball to you.
Coach, I'm all about getting yards, not first downs, baby.
Well, we got another 3rd and less than 1. I don't think it's going to be another quarterback sneak.
Yeah, and it could be a reverse anyway. That kill was coming to Nate Burleson on that reverse play.
We'll see. You have played for every team, you said, so.
You're right about that. I got every jersey in my closet.
They changed personnel.
Yeah, they took the big lineman Dozier out.
They can get lined up.
Trenton Cannon ran right to a pile, fell backwards, but with his second momentum,
They're not going to give him the spot.
we'll see. They didn't. He fell backwards when he ran right into the line of scrimmage. Big DJ Reader, a little bit too much for him.
But when he fell backwards, did his butt hit the ground? Because if it didn't, he still can keep going forward. Here he is right here.
Okay, second effort.
His butt didn't
Go
touch
get
the
it
ground.
right there. Should
That's
be
a first
spotted
down.
right there. Should be a first down.
You're right.
Check him out. Here he is.
Challenge this.
Can it? He gets knocked off balance. His butt never hits. He keeps his balance, and he extends himself for the first down.
Quickly here.
Jets going quickly on fourth down rather than challenging it.
Who called the timeout? The Texans called the
Prior
timeout.
to
Might
the
challenge
snap.
this play.
Charge timeout. Houston.
Well,
Their
this
second.
is interesting.
It will be 30 seconds.
Because you think the Jets would be trying to challenge it. Instead, Houston calls a timeout, which will give
47.
them a chance to challenge
Give
it.
them a chance to challenge it.
The Jets race to the line of scrimmage to try and do it on fourth down instead of challenging, what we believe they would have won, and Houston called a timeout.
Yeah, I thought on the second effort.
Now, you heard of the butt fumble. This is the butt stumble.
Okay,
So you got
hang on.
Cannon
He's not
right
down
here.
yet, though. He's not
He gets
down yet.
knocked off balance. Butt never touches the ground. And then he continues to fight for that extra yard, which
They should challenge this.
seems to my naked eye up here that it's a first down, no question.
I don't think anything touched.
How about that effort, though,
Unless a
Coach?
whistle blew. I don't think a whistle blew either.
That's a first down in my book every day of the week.
Not down.
Check him out. His eyes even know where the first down is. He's fighting for those yards like he's fighting for his job.
Good effort by the rookie.
Now listen for the whistle. Yeah, he got that first down, Coach.
I'm not going to
Well,
challenge it.
surprisingly, the Jets still aren't challenging.
Well, they feel they can go get it right here.
The crowd wanted them to challenge. Jets did not. We'll see if they get it on 4th and 1. Darnold. Anderson. Conversion.
What a catch by Robbie.
Wow.
Pretty good coverage by Jonathan Joseph, too. But he was off coverage. He run the hitch in front of him. Boy, it was close.
Now here you are. You're going to see the hitch play. Jonathan Joseph was all over that. I love the fact that Robbie Anderson went out there and snatched it with his hands. Didn't give the DB a chance to break it up from behind. That was a bold call right there.
Yeah.
Usually on that type of play, you run a slant route, and I think that's what Jonathan Joseph was expecting. You call that hitch route, strong pass, strong catch by Robbie Anderson.
First down inside the 20. The handoff to Trenton Cannon. Going backwards again. This time is Cunningham who wrestles him down.
They don't have a lot of runs out of the shotgun formation. A lot of inside zone, and they keep running it and getting 2 yards, 1 yard. Sooner or later, they're going to pull it out, play action pass, or come out on the zone read with Sam Darnold.
Now, when we talked to offense coordinator Jeremy Bates, he mentioned that this is where Sam improved. That time sitting on the sideline, watching Josh McCown prepare, understanding when you're close to the red zone, you can't afford to make mistakes.
Here's Darnold. Almost picked off. Intended for Herndon. Kareem Jackson saying, not on my watch.
Now, this was a perfectly thrown ball, running a corner route from the inside. Check this out. Sam gets it up over in the top. Not a big fan of falling down while you're trying to catch a route. Now, I know sometimes you can't help it, but just naturally, your momentum is going to carry you away from the same thing you're trying to catch. I'd rather you fall to your knees, just like Robbie Anderson did a couple of plays ago, and then extend your hands and go snatch that rock out there.
Down on 3rd and 10, you can't lose yards with a sack or a penalty here.
Scrambling.
Go. He's going to run
Running.
like this.
Flag goes flying. Darnold out of bounds inside the 10, the 5, but let's see what the marker is. That was way back as he got to turn the corner.
When you get man coverage, quarterbacks that can run
Holding.
know it.
Defense. Number 22.
Defense.
After this is to the goal. First down.
Man coverage, quarterback can run, and nobody's on the quarterback most of the time unless you're spying with a fast guy, and Sam Darnold takes it around the left side.
Aaron Colvin, the cornerback, called for defensive holding. That must have been obviously before he was chasing Darnold.
He's got a little bit of a limp right now, and he missed 3 games because of a foot sprain. Then he came out of last week's game because of an ankle sprain, and he's kind of favoring it right now.
Yeah,
Okay,
they were
Coach.
both on that right leg.
I see you with the touch screen.
See that?
That was good right there.
First down.
From the 3-yard line.
Empty backfield. Sam could keep it as well.
Quarterback draw.
There it is.
There he goes. But not going to go anywhere. Justin Reed with the tackle.
That was a good smart play because it was man coverage and they emptied the box a little bit, but the Texans played that very well.
So Davian Clowney, he blew up that play. Sam looking to score on that quarterback draw. I want you to pay attention to where the wide receivers are, how they line up, and then the pick place, coach, right around the goal line. This is where you use a lot of movement to get guys open.
Jets going with 6 offensive linemen. McGuire trying to find a crease, pushing the pile, still pushing.
He's in there.
No signal yet. Touchdown, Jets. Talk about a team effort. There are flags all over the end zone for celebration. But this will count, and the Jets will have their first lead of the night.
And what a way to do it, right? You hit them right where their strength is. Bully ball. And when you think bully ball,
touchdown. After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 55, defense. This is number 55's first unsportsmanlike for potential disqualification. That penalty would be assessed on the succeeding kickoff.
Well, it can't be 55. He's not active today.
McKinney.
Yeah, McKinney.
We got to have this extra point. Is this important?
Well, like I was saying, a little bully ball sends the message to a team that was supposed to come in and bully you on your home field. That right there, that was the entire offensive line showing just how strong they are.
Well, let's see what Myers does. He's missed twice on extra points today. This one is true. The New York Jets, 4-9 on the season. After the touchdown by Eli McGuire, knocking on the door of an upset. Let's check out tonight's Captains of Delivery, delivered by Pizza Hut. And both these quarterbacks have played well. It's just that it's been a tale of two halves. Watson good in the first. Darnold very good in the second.
Neither has thrown an interception. Well, we're going to see if Deshaun Watson can put on one of his fourth quarter comeback drives.
And going into this game, I would give Deshaun Watson the advantage. He's a better quarterback. He's been in this game one more year. He said he's just now catching his rhythm. But I got to credit this Jets defense.
Just to do a little house cleaning, that unsportsmanlike penalty was against Bernard McKinney of the Houston Texans. So that's why the Jets are kicking off at midfield. Just to get a touchback.
All right.
Here's another look at the touchdown to put the Jets ahead.
It's called one back power. You got linemen over here and tight ends over here, but we're going to come and pull this guy around right in here. Whoa. Right here. And away we go. Hit it up in there.
Away we go right there, Coach. But this is where it gets exciting. Watch this. Boom, 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 boom. All those guys get in on the fun.
Like a rugby scrum.
They're waiting to use that arrow.
That was a lot of booms.
You're like Christmas morning with the kids and all the toys. You got the telestrator, you're going nuts.
They're waiting to use that arrow all day.
We can't have nice things around here, I tell you. Texans will try to answer down for the first time today. Watson, quick pass. Hopkins slips a tackle, gets out to the 45-yard line.
Well, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That was another blitz, double-edged blitz by the Jets, but you caught them in man-to-man coverage. There's your slant to their playmaker.
And that's it. Single high safety. You have one of the best combinations in the entire game. Deshaun Watson, phenomenal. And then you have DeAndre Hopkins, who they've been giving single coverage to. Make sure you utilize those weapons. They should have the advantage in this game. You're not feeding DeAndre Hopkins enough, especially with the first half that he had.
Gain of 20. Pass down low and caught by Alfred Blue.
Okay, they just take what they give you.
Gain of 6.
Got DeAndre Hopkins going deep, but you got a soft coverage on the hitch. Give it to him in the flat.
You know what I'm noticing? A little bit of sense of urgency for this Texans offense.
And no huddle after that last one as they cross midfield. Watson in trouble again. Just gets that one off. And not only are the Jets playing well, Houston right now coming in at 9-4. Melissa, you wonder, did they overlook New York today?
Right. Well, if you ask J.J. Watt, he said no way. The mindset was win one. That was the mindset when they started the season 0-3. That's the mindset now. And head coach Bill O'Brien saying, yeah, we have this 9-game winning streak, but we haven't clinched anything. We haven't done anything. And Deshaun Watson adding that the Colts game was supposed to be our statement game. He wanted to come in tonight and kick some you-know-what.
They're going to need to convert this third down if they want to keep kicking or start kicking. Watson going up top. Hand fighting incomplete, but there is a flag. DeAndre Hopkins there with Morris Claiborne.
That's big. Not a lot of bump and run coverage today, but that was one.
Holding. Defense. Number 21. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
I wanted to take a peek at this again. Check this out. Single high safety. You have DeAndre Hopkins going outside, and you see that grab of the jersey. Of course, people at home that are Jets fans are saying, well, what about that push by DeAndre Hopkins at the end? But the grab first, that's what got the ref's attention, and it was a good call.
Not only is it 5 yards, but it's an automatic first down, so the drive keeps going. Ball's at the Jet 44. Inside 4 minutes. Watson pulls it down. Throwing on the run, Demaryius Thomas makes the catch.
Wow. And they rushed 3. They had a spy. Frankie Luvu, the rookie, was spying on Deshaun Watson. Here he comes.
You'll see it right here. You got Demaryius Thomas just escaping as he's trying to get away from Buster Screen. But that's the benefit of having a quarterback that can run, extending those plays. That's what the Jets have to keep out for. They've been doing a great job so far of containing Deshaun Watson. But remember, with containing comes gaps. If he sees a gap, he can hit you with a pass in the same gap he runs in.
20 more yards to the 24. Watson out of the backfield. Throws it out to Thomas. And Demaryius Thomas not going to pick up much there.
They stopped the clock. That was smart.
This is an important game as far as the AFC playoff hunt goes. The Houston Texans with a win today and a couple of losses tomorrow by Tennessee and Indy could wrap up the South. But more importantly, they still have a shot at the number 2 seed and first round bye. Both they and the Patriots enter the weekend at 9-4.
And you got single coverage over here. DeAndre Hopkins.
Empty backfield. Here come the Jets. High throw. Hopkins catches it, but he is wrapped up immediately on the play. Tremaine Johnson with the tackle.
They give him a first down on that.
Wow.
It's a pretty good spot.
That sure is.
There he is right here running this slant route. A little slow off the line of scrimmage. Guess they spotted where the ball was. Great pitch and catch by Watson and Hopkins.
Off the play fake. Towards the end zone for Hopkins.
Oh, baby.
What a grab. Touchdown, Texans.
Wow.
Now this is why you can't have the best receiver in the game conversation without DeAndre Hopkins. Check it out. Claiborne does great on the release move, but the 50-50 ball, for those at home, what does that mean? That means the DB has 50% chance, the wide receiver has 50% chance. But when it comes to DeAndre Hopkins, this is an 80-20 ball because of that hand strength, going up there and plucking it out there. He gets to the ball before Claiborne gets to his hands.
But they have to carry him off the field. He can't even walk off.
And he's been an Iron Man out of over 900 plays. He's only missed 6 all-season plays, 99% of the snaps, Nate. Boy, they need him to be healthy. What a great catch.
14 yards on the score. Here's Fairbairn for the extra point. And the Texans answer the Jets touchdown with one of their own. Second one of the night from Watson to Hopkins, who's got 10 catches, 170 yards, and a couple of wows. Last week, DeAndre Hopkins had 36 receiving yards. His worst game in more than a year. He's bounced back today, folks.
That's right. You know, I remember playing with Randy. He would have a game where he'd go about 50 or 60 yards, and Randy Moss would go to coach and say, I'm too good for me to have these type of games. It's not for the benefit of my own career and my stats, but it's for the benefit of the team. Yeah. And some people would see that as being selfish. I just see that as one of the best in the game wanting to help their squad. And that right there is one of the best in the game. Yeah. If you feed DeAndre Hopkins, your offense is going to get rolling.
Yeah, 10 receptions, 170 yards, a couple TDs.
When his teammates carried him off, he looks like he's okay on the sideline right now.
Yeah, they look like Byron Leftwich back in the day. He carried down the field on a 2-minute drive.
All right, 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in this one. When we are done, we'll get it to Denver, where Baker Mayfield and the Browns will take on Von Miller and the Broncos. Playoff hopes still alive for both those teams in the AFC. It's the Browns and Broncos. The second game of our doubleheader here on the NFL Network. And Baker Mayfield has indeed been hot since Hugh Jackson was fired.
I can't wait for this game. I was looking at the Rookie Player of the Weeks, and Baker Mayfield has won it multiple times. Denzel Ward multiple times. They have some individuals on this squad that can give everybody in Denver a run for their money. It's going to be a great game.
Well, this rookie quarterback, Sam Darnold, taking 2 picks behind Baker Mayfield, has had quite a night. See it for the second week in a row. He can lead a fourth quarter comeback. Going deep over the middle of the field. He's got Robbie Anderson, but it's broken up by Jonathan Joseph.
He wanted it all right there, and these two young quarterbacks have impressed me today. Both Deshaun Watson and Sam Darnold. Man, they are playing well, and they are courageous, and they're getting it done today. No interceptions.
Yeah, that was almost one right there. Jonathan Joseph all over that big-time post route. Ball thrown by Sam Darnold. Credit to Robbie Anderson, though, on the flip side. Sometimes as a wide receiver, you got to be a defensive back knowing that there could be an interception.
Keep in mind the Jets need a touchdown to win this game, in large part because they missed 2 extra points. Here's Darnold to the outside, caught by Andre Roberts. And there's still time for one more play before the 2-minute warning. Yeah, had they gotten those 2 extra points, this would be a 26-24 game, and a field goal would win it.
Yeah, that's proved to be huge. The Jets have 2 timeouts left after this 2-minute warning. Big third down, though.
Third down before the 2-minute warning. Darnold, pressure, J.J. Watt.
Wait a minute.
Whistle was blown, that's a sack. Yeah. Second of the night for Watt. You talk about the big name players coming up with big plays when needed. Few bigger than Watt. Well, the Stars are out here in New Jersey tonight. J.J. Watt shining on defense. A couple of sacks, 2 tackles for loss, to force fumble, and that huge sack to force a 4th and 14 of desperation for the Jets. Here's Darnold, pressured. Anderson can't catch it.
A tough catch.
Sam did the right thing, got out of the pocket, bought some more time, had a chance for a completion here. Had a chance.
It's a tough catch, but you know, Robbie's a friend of mine. They say if it touches your fingers, you should catch the ball. That's as hard as it gets. But big players make big moments, make big catches in big moments. Credit to that defense, though. You know, it's one thing to be flushed out the pocket because you want to extend the play yourself as a quarterback. It's another thing to be flushed out of the pocket because of the pressure.
So
that right there was the pressure.
Sorry about that, Nate. 1:52 left. Jets will try and hold the Texans to a field goal. They have 2 timeouts to work with. Alfred Blue. That'll be a stop for a loss of a yard on first down.
And they're what we call a 4-minute drill right now is hang on to the ball.
Right.
Stay in bounds.
Right.
Make them use their timeouts, which they did.
Right.
If you can make a first down, terrific. Otherwise, we're going to kick this field goal and take a 7-point lead. But a first down will win this game.
Do you think about trying to punch it in the end zone at all if they're expecting you to just run a little clock? Seal the coffin?
For the Texans to punch it in the end zone?
Yeah. Do you take a shot at the end zone here?
I'm not throwing the ball. I'm going to run it again. I'm going to throw. Watch him throw this.
Hey, you know what I would say, Coach? If I was,
throw the ball. That's what you would say.
Yeah, I'll say, Coach, I'm getting
And they
single
might.
coverage out
DeAndre
here.
Hopkins is limping out here. Watch him.
It's still one-on-one coverage, though.
They hand it off. Blue. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Got to force the Jets to use their second timeout. And there's a look at the playoff picture in the AFC. Chargers and Chiefs, the only 2 teams that have officially clinched. Texans trying to get their 10th win. First time under Bill O'Brien that will be accomplished if it does work. And they still have a good shot at getting that 2nd seed and a first-round bye.
And remember now, if the Patriots and Texans have the same record at the end, the Patriots win that tiebreaker head-to-head.
That's right.
Beat them in the first game. They're going to run the ball one more time.
Jets are now out of timeouts. The handoff to Blue. Caught in the backfield. So the Jets defense did its job, holding the Texans to at least a field goal attempt. We'll see if they can put it through. And they're going to give the offense another chance.
So either way, Sam Darnold's going to have another shot to go tie this game or win this game. Like I said earlier, both of these young quarterbacks showed me a lot tonight. Future is bright for both of these teams.
Very impressive. I think what we saw to Sam Darnold is that he finds so much comfort when he's outside the pocket. So if you're Jeremy Bates moving forward, how do you design that within the offense each week? You create a game plan that gives him a little bit of flexibility so that he's not just sitting there like a statue inside the pocket.
Yeah, and in Jeremy Bates' version of the West Coast offense, there are a lot of movements and keeps that will do that.
Yeah.
One thing that Sam has to get better at is play action pass and those things. He was in shotgun his entire career really over at USC. So if you're faking and you're not seeing the defense, that's one thing young quarterbacks have to develop that skill in time. But movements and keeps with this kid is huge because he's so good on the move.
Yeah, and on the flip side, Deshaun Watson, I mean, we forget he's still a young quarterback. And we talked to him yesterday, said I still feel like a rookie. Last year went so fast. I had the high of being one of the better quarterbacks and I had the low of getting injured. He had himself a day. Had some moments, though, where the pressure got to him, holding on to the ball a little bit too long. But he did have some good throws in this game.
That's been Houston's problem on offense is pressure. He was sacked 46 times coming in and 5 more again today.
Yeah. Fairbairn for his 5th field goal of the night. All right, so he gets that, and the lead is now 7. Sam Darnold and the Jets will still have one more chance at it. Less than a minute to go, no timeouts. But remember last week against the Buffalo Bills, they needed to get a score, and Sam delivered.
He did, and he got his first and only 4th quarter comeback for the victory. Will he do it again today?
Elijah McGuire scored the game-winning touchdown. Jets were down 14-3 in that game. Darnold had left with a foot injury, only to come back and lead them to the win. Can he do it in back-to-back weeks?
And if they do score, do they do a San Diego Charger and go for 2?
You made it to the final 54 seconds.
Let's do that.
Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, we almost made it through.
You were that
LA
close.
Chargers. Let's go for 2.
Well, let's give them a shot first.
Yeah, you got to get down there first.
Yep.
And remember, they've got the dangerous return man, Andre Roberts. one of the best in the league, trying to give them better field position to start.
Yeah, unless this thing is kicked 8 or 9 yards deep, he's got to come out because he is a dynamic football player. He's got all kinds of long returns, punt and kickoff returns this year. He's a weapon. Come on out. Nope.
Back of the end zone, hard to bring it out from there.
Too deep.
So they'll start from the 25-yard line, needing 75 yards to tie this game, or go for 2 and win it.
Right. 54 seconds, it's been done before. A lot of pressure, though, for a rookie QB. What we saw this last drive, Houston Texans dialing up that rush. And I'm not saying with blitzes. They're dialing up that rush just with that front four. Now, I anticipate the Texans kind of faking the blitz, dropping guys back to try to confuse the young quarterback and seeing if they can get underneath one of his balls.
Here we go. Throw number 1 off the face mask of Jermaine Kearse. Bernardrick McKinney was running there with him, but they had a chance for that to be a good start to this drive.
He wanted that. He had a receiver against the middle linebacker. The ball's a little underthrown. Right there. That's good coverage.
It's actually off McKinney's helmet. Pardon me. I thought it had bounced off of the face mask, but it hadn't. It was back of the helmet. Still an incompletion. Clock down to 49 seconds. Out of the pocket. In trouble, and Darnold just gets rid of that one. No flags anywhere.
And that's a sign of a good defense. If you can pressure the quarterback with a 4-man rush and play coverage with the rest of your guys. That's what they're getting right now. They got J.J. Watt working inside. And Whitney Merciless and Jadeveon Clowney. This is a talented bunch rushing the passer.
Yeah, and if you have J.J. Watt working the inside, what does that mean? You're going to flush Sam Darnold out to the sideline, which it leans to the advantage of the defense in a 2-minute drill.
Jets need to get some yards. They won on this play.
There's the 2 big dogs.
Clowney with the sack.
You put J.J. Watt on the inside. Forget about Jadeveon Clowney, who's on the outside. He makes a speed rush, a beeline to the quarterback. That's tough to escape if you're any man.
Fourth and 18 underneath. McGuire needs the 35. Falls forward, going to be a couple of yards short, and that'll be it. And so the Houston Texans get a scare, but they survive. When needed, Jadeveon Clowney, J.J. Watt, and DeAndre Hopkins all showed up.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game. Now we saw the Jets, who really had nothing to gain or lose. They're just playing for pride, and boy, did they play well, and they played hard. And now you got the Texans, who's trying to win this division for the 3rd time in 4 years.
That's right.
And stay very much alive for the bye.
Yeah, and they should celebrate, as you just saw in that graphic. That's their 10th win of the season. You know how hard it is to double-digit wins in this league. You know, credit to the Texans. They had some moments where they weren't as efficient, but first quarter made some plays. Second quarter made some plays. A huge drop-off in the third, but they finished the game strong, and that's what good teams do, Coach. They finished the game even though there were some down moments in this one.
Yep. So Deshaun Watson leads the Texans to win number 10. First time that's ever happened under Bill O'Brien, who's had 4 winning seasons in his 5 years as the Texans head coach. And that's a franchise that had had 3 winning seasons, period, before he took over. So a big win today for the Texans.
Yeah, they're lucky to have Bill O'Brien. Does a heck of a job with this bunch. It's a good bounce-back game after getting beat last week. 9 wins in a row and then lose to the Colts. They needed to have this. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all.
Well, keep in mind, we've got another game coming your way here on NFL Network. The Broncos will host the Cleveland Browns. It should be a good one as Baker Mayfield will try to go to 4-1 since the changing of his head coach. Von Miller and that defense will try to keep the Broncos alive in the AFC playoff race. But before that, We'll get it out to Chris Rose and the gang for the pregame show from Denver in just a minute. But right now, we say goodbye from the Meadowlands. Houston wins it 29-22. For Steve Mariucci, Nate Burleson, and Melissa Stark, I'm Kurt Menefee. So long.